Where's yours, dude? Oh, there it is. Shit! The crew is back! And we're here to get lit. Let's go! Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Go Live, the Saturday evening talk show. We are horrendously late, as always. Apologies. I blame myself again. Potentially King for playing Fortnite, but you was here on time.
This guy here.
Shout out to everyone. It is going to be an epic, crazy show. As always, we are joined by a new face and an old returning legend, and of course yourselves. So shout out to all of you. Before we do, we have to introduce Ace, sir, as always. How are you doing, sir? You were sitting there quietly. How are you feeling?
I don't know. I've just pulled off my VR headset and I'm still acclimatizing to this world, so I don't know what's going on or where I am, but sure it's going to be a great show though.
Welcome to the reality amongst the reality. Still playing VRs. That's good. You're a brave soul. No, you've been enjoying VR recently. You're saying there's a I
had to sample. There's a whole load of games coming out at the moment, which is weird. It's very unusual for virtual reality. But you must have seen that there was a VR game that got a 10 out of 10 from IGN this week. So I wanted to give it a little sample and see how it was.
Oh, for real? What game was it?
Asgard's Wrath 2.
Yeah, I heard that game was supposed to be really good. What are you playing it on?
It's only available on Quest. So I'm on the Quest Pro, but you can't play it on a PC or a PlayStation. So there is no like high fidelity version of it, which is really weird as a concept for a review to compare it to what? Who knows? Yeah.
I get the Quest Pro. I think probably next week. I was supposed to pick it up today, but I didn't go get it. But I get that next week because I decided against the Quest 3. Yeah, and that's I pick up the Pro.
Shit, do you get like discounts from freaking COG? Come on, bruh.
Well, yeah, sometimes yes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
I just like the build quality of the Oculus over the PlayStation. I like the PlayStation's delivery of the graphics, but the build quality of the machine itself, it sucks. It's really bad. It's very poor. But the build quality on the Oculus is really good.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really had time for VR, but it's interesting. It's interesting that VR, the loads of VR games coming out and you get a 10 out of 10 and you don't even hear about it. Well, it's IGN, I guess.
Nobody listens to them. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But King, David, you're here. Thank you so much, sir. Welcome. What's happening? Things have changed. Your beard has changed. You're doing your own shit. Shit's popping off. I see it in the background. How you doing? Looking suave. The intro we had. And you with your normal colored beard, and now you have your white beard like Gandalf of the Wise.
Well, what it was is I made a pact with Sovereign when I hit an age that I was gonna stop, and it was like every show he knew when I hit that age, he was like, "So when you gonna stop? When you gonna stop? When you gonna stop?" So I was just like, you know what? You got to stay up to your word. Yeah. And I just stopped. It was because of Thanksgiving came around and my son came over for Thanksgiving. Yeah. And I said, I got to stop playing young.
It's his turn. Playing young. Is that what your son said that?
No, that's what I said. I said, it's his turn because I saw him and I saw me in him. And I was like, oh yeah, go do you. And I was just like, it was like a moment. And it was the weirdest moment that I was like, okay, good. I don't even have to dye my beard anymore. That's cool. He got it. Go do it.
It's like you knew back then, that's it. It's done for me.
Oh, yeah. I don't care about it. That's vanity. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything else but vanity. What am I trying to go do? Nothing. It doesn't affect anything.
You're dyeing your beard, man.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I wanted to do? And I had talked to my girl about it. I said, I wanted to dye it white, like completely white, like because I saw, because I saw Leonard Ellaby, the CEO of Mayweather Promotions. His beard is completely white, like my jacket, and I was like, "Oh, that shit look dope."
You'll get that.
Yeah, I said, but I don't want to be 90 years old and it's completely white.
It looks good either way, man. It's good. It goes well with your jacket or hoodie, whatever it is that you're wearing right now.
It's a hoodie. It's a hoodie, sir.
Shit! Look at that Xbox chain. We can see it.
You talk about?
We love to see it.
Yeah, that is mad. Tell me that's legit.
No, it's fake. It's fake as hell. Cog got it for me, but it's fun. I love it.
It looks nice, man.
Yeah,
it does look. I think they got that idea for merch. Microsoft started selling that jewelry. I was like, this is only person who could market this properly is King David.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't need something on my neck that's like 100 or something thousand for what? Like, I don't love the brand that much unless they, give it to me. So
yeah, exactly. Phil, you're watching this? Maybe you
no, he's watching. He's watching.
Oh, I don't know anymore. Last, but certainly not least, is coming from Straya. It's quite early in the morning there. 5:30, I understand, from Epic Treasure. Shout out to you in the chat. I see you as well. She was doing an early morning stint. Welcome, Doom Cutie. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling like my eyes are dry. Like as dry as the dirt outside. But no, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna need some of that. Thank you. I know it's fantastic to be here, obviously, and with everyone. And the chat is like on fire, killing it.
Chat's on fire. Shout out to 500 of you already in the chat. Yeah. Doom, it's good to have you on here. Before we go into what games you play for new guests who debut want to go live, let me just hit these super chats quickly because these guys are generously been doing it. Sith Lord, of course, one of the nicest people in the community. He goes, my favorite gentleman and lady are back together. Yes, absolutely. Well, Doom's first debut here, but shout out to you, Sith. I see you. Rambling Entertained, thank you so much for the 5. For King and GAAS, now the Xbox is going third party. Where are you going? PlayStation or Nintendo? This is a whole topic, by the way. You might have seen my tweet. Keep in mind, PC isn't taking refugees at the moment. You don't decide. The PC guys, Alex thinks he holds the keys to letting us in. Get out of here. Get a 4090, Alex, then maybe I'll take you seriously. I'll see Polygons with a $10 super chat. With Naughty Dog unable to do multiplayer alongside its single player mode, I guess Obsidian, Playground, Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, and Infinity Ward again, Toys for Bobs are better than Naughty Dog. So RC Polygons. That's a very, very good question. Why can Microsoft do multiplayer and single player, but
everybody can do it, but these dudes that can't walk and chew bubblegum.
Oh shit. And we are not all out of gum. Parksy 1972, member for 26 months, says this is going to be a super messy having King on when Naughty Dog can't do what the Coalition and 343 can't do. You guys are going raw, and absolutely with good reason as well, because we're going to have that conversation. That's a whole topic. Champagne, shout out to Champagne Supernova, the insider of, you know who you are, Champagne. Good to see you. I'm going to read your super chat actually, let me read this. Australian 5? Champagne, I did not know you were Australian, but bloody hell, we got a lot of Australian. What was that now?
There you go.
Yeah, we can now hear you breathing.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Australian weather.
It sounded like somebody turned on a jet engine.
Yeah, I was just like, yo, someone's got PlayStation 4 Pro or something up in there.
Turbines.
Sorry, I'll turn that off. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. You thought you did something. Like, here we go. And we're like, whatever you did, Control Z that. Because that was weird.
You have to wait. You have to wait for the dust to settle because you don't know if it's going to be one of GAAS's effects or not. So it's like, is this real? Has GAAS pressed the wrong button again?
That's what I was looking for.
Wasn't held up. Sorry. No.
Champagne. Thank you, Champagne. I did not know you're Australian. He goes, it was spooky how quiet gaming journalists were on the post on your year-in review day. GAAS delivering the masala to the Xbox front line. Shout out to you, man. I see you guys. Don't talk in chat. I see you. Just James, thank you for member for a month, man. He goes, 1 month member. What can I say? I love the podcast. Keep up the game. Good work, GAAS. Should invite Dreamcast guy to stir the sauce. Fuck the ponies. I'd rather get syphilis. But no.
Yo.
It's true. Shout out to 550 of you in chat. We are going to get into the source, and the super chats have already been alluding to it. The title of this was always going to be this one, and it's quite funny, really, because the writing was on the wall for a very long time. We treated it as near confirmation, but Naughty Dog stayed mum throughout the whole time, never even peeping. Until, and you know, some people were still in denial, and we've got receipts for days of these people actually still having faith in Naughty Dog. Why wouldn't you? These guys never miss until they just did. Last of Us Factions, a game mode that was supposed to be a game mode for the 2019 release, which basically makes The Last of Us Part 2 an unreleased, an unfinished game in my books, because you did not get the multiplayer component that the first game benefited from.
But they didn't promise that, though.
Bruv, they released the game. If you remember, last minute, they just said, there's no multiplayer. It was like, what? It's coming later. It's coming later. And then it became so ambitious that they had to do something with it, like something really special. And so much so that you've had, what's his name? Neil Cuckman come in on stage last year. Yeah, fuck that guy. And then he goes on stage and shows a concept of a thing. And we're like, oh, we'll promise we have loads to show you. And turns out that's the last thing we would ever see. The Last of Us Factions is now officially cancelled. King David, the chat is raw. The chat is saying that you rinse all. They rinsed Coalition. They rinsed even 343. Like, we Xbox guys, we have a certain quality bar when it comes to multiplayer, and we're quite harsh. And Microsoft, when they release full products or partially released products, we get pissed. But
Halo Infinite,
like Halo Infinite. Come on, let's be quite vocal about what that did. At least it launched with a multiplayer single player component.
Yeah, and then couch co-op, and then Forge, and then all the stuff actually did show up. They were actually working on stuff.
Yeah, so they were doing it. They delivered it. That's it. Naughty Dog is supposedly Sony's top tier studio. I don't even know if you would consider it now.
No.
What's your take on this? This was supposed to be near Rockstar levels. It never was, but people say it was. What does that leave Naughty Dog? People got pissed at me. I said their perfect record is gone. Even perfect record is generous. Well, but what do you think?
Okay, well, first, it's a lot of meddling into the developer itself, right? Remember, they needed to do a Last of Us remake with Pedro Pascal's face as he changes Joel. They're supposed to do that. Everything is supposed to be huge blockbuster stuff, and then they went and got Bungie. I believe that Jim's big downfall was acquiring Bungie. He paid too much, got too little in return, and promised too much to the board. And he thought Bungie would oversee what was going on with games of service. And they had the game, and I believe the game was probably finished the same way that the last game was finished. Put it in a box, put it out, let everybody get a chance to play it. It's just a regular multiplayer game with the mechanics of The Last of Us 2. Good. There's nothing wrong with that. But they wanted to monetize their fan base. They wanted to make sure that they was able to gouge the fan base. And you could have been able to do so even with the initial product. The problem is they were looking at Call of Duty money. And I believe that the ABK deal put scares in them that said, okay, we need to have the Fortnite cash. Excuse me. They thought they was going to get that Call of Duty cash. They thought they was going to get that Call of Duty cash from Destiny 2. And they said, okay, we're going to have this money rolling in. If we can get this game of service going up, we can get that money rolling in. I think Bungie sabotaged that game. I believe that they lost faith.
Sabotage is a strong word.
Yeah, I believe so, because you have Marathon coming. You can't have a competitor studio that is not from you guys go in there and oversee you guys.
Do you still see them as competitors, even though they're internally, despite being independent, under the Sony PlayStation banner?
I believe Bungie is for the streets, and Bungie goes wherever she can get food. That's it. And she will sabotage your situation. She would destroy your situation from the inside out, because you cannot put Bungie in charge of overseeing games of service in your internal house. Everybody was fighting back. You know, Naughty Dog was fighting back. You had the Spider-Man team was fighting back. You had so many teams fighting back on games of service that led to a lot of people leaving. You had people that was there for decades that said, you know, I don't want this. You know, so, and a lot of people from Naughty Dog actually left. The problem of this is the game was probably done, right? And I believe that Sony proper lost faith in Jim's vision. And in losing faith in Jim's vision, you're going to defund that game that could have came out. It was 5 years that game was in development. You cannot tell me that they didn't have an up and running beta that can actually be consumed by the consumer that didn't need to have all, you know, the bells and whistles to it. I believe the game is done, but they just canceled it.
No, they definitely had something to show because Bungie did go in and did make an assessment.
And they said no.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the crazy part. That they had a product that, despite their press release, which I'll get out in a sec, despite their press release suggesting that this was overly ambitious and then the scope creep happened, the one thing they really gloss over, I'd be surprised if they even mentioned it, is the fact that Bungie did come in. They did think there was something to present to them, and they said this was shit. And then...
Okay.
I mean, that's a bit weird.
Was it crap, or was it not
sabotage,
able to monetize? I believe it's sabotage. In my opinion, this is my opinion.
The monetization angle is where the problem came in, didn't it?
You got to look at it. Sony has just enough money. They're funding Destiny 2, which is losing money hand over fist right now. This is the reason why Microsoft didn't get them. Remember, Microsoft had the chance to get Destiny first. They passed. We're going to go with ABK. We'll leave you alone because your return on investment isn't what you think it is. They have a way of inflating numbers, but when you actually get a chance to look at it, remember, Destiny 2 was inside Game Pass. They had a chance to see all the metrics that Destiny was bringing in. What was they bringing in during that whole period of time?
That's the key one, isn't it?
Yes. So they had a chance to see them firsthand. What you would do if we acquired you and still pass. So if they still pass, and the numbers of for Bungie was $2 billion.
Yeah.
Jim spent $3.6 billion. He spent $1 billion plus just to he was outbidding himself because there was nobody else bidding with him. Right? All right. So you outbid yourself. You get these guys in. Now you're losing money, and then you put them in charge of games of service. That's the problem, because they want to get Marathon out the door, but they don't want to lose any funding because they have metrics that they have to meet. Because when you looked at the contracts, if they don't meet certain metrics financially, they can lose the company because the board will dissolve.
Yeah.
That's a problem within itself. So they have a self-preservation for their stuff. And I believe they're not of the same team. That's introducing a wild card to your group. Neil Druckmann and the rest of Sony's in-house studios rebelled against that and just said, you know, no, we're not going to do these games of service. We don't want to do this. If you read the what he said, they want to stick to story-driven narrative games. There's no reason why you can't do both, because you just did both last generation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely correct. And that we'll get into that point in a bit as well, about the fact that this is quite surprising, and I think it's quite scathing about almost admitting the Naughty Dog coming out there that they can't do both. Doom, are you a big Last of Us fan, and were you waiting for factions? And what's your take on Naughty Dog just canning the whole thing?
You know what? I haven't actually played The Last of Us. It's not really a game genre that I know. That's okay. I don't need to play it. I didn't have I didn't have a PS4, so yeah, I didn't get a chance to play it, and you know, I'm a busy gal, you know.
But we never actually got to ask you what games you do like. Sorry, I completely forgot, even though I said we always do that with new guests. What is your favorite genre? What games do you like, and what would you say are your top 3 games?
of the year, or just in general that I played?
In general, just in general.
Oh, look, I'm really sorry. PC Master Race over here. World of Warcraft will always be my ride or die.
Oh yeah.
My very first. I've played that game for 14 years, and I always come back to it. And every time I do, it's always like home. And honestly, it's never been better. So
okay, I'm going to judge you here. Horde or Alliance?
Horde.
Okay, you got brownie points there. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
No, that's great. Yeah, and everyone knows like I'm a big Forza fan. So yeah, racing games. Love those. And it's really hard to pick a favorite, to be honest.
Pick one. Well, a game that comes to mind.
Well, this year I really like.
What's your best game this year that you played?
Hogwarts Legacy. We talk about Hogwarts Legacy. That game is selling so much. It might be the only game that might actually be set to take over or remove COD from that's right. COD, it's like the first non-shooter game to even get close to the amount of sales COD has. So no one talks about that because I don't know why.
You know why? We all know why.
So those are my favorite games. But in saying, yes, I have played Gears. In talking about Naughty Dog, I think personally, I know a lot of big fans of the franchise, and I don't think they were excited. I feel like the only people who were excited were Xbox people. Is that fair to say? Is that
that it being cancelled, or
about it actually coming out, actually looking forward to it? It was like
multiplayer. Do you think there's
Yeah, because I think Naughty Dog were like, hey, look, we've only made single player games, but here, look, we're going to make it really cool for you guys. We're going to make The Last of Us great again. Really, we just want to get in. We want to. They drunk that microtransaction Kool-Aid, So they were like, yes, you guys, if you loved that, you're going to love this. You're going to love multiplayer. It's going to be fantastic. And once again, they're not the only ones to fail on this, but they have significantly, and I think the only people that actually care about it are Xbox people. Wow. And I don't feel like there are many people actually on the ground in the community. Not as many as we think. I think they just have loud voices.
Okay, that's a quite interesting take there. Asa, the multiplayer has always been seen from the hardcore community I'm talking about on the PlayStation side a little bit with skepticism, and there were a lot of people damage controlling this on that side, saying, oh, well, at least they go back to their strength. But Naughty Dog almost allude to that, which I found really surprising for a studio of their pedigree. What's your take on this, man, now that it's official?
So on that, in terms of people having an appetite for it, or there being an audience for it on the PlayStation side, you need to remember there's like 50 million people with a PlayStation 5, and we hear from about 7 of them. So the people that you see on Twitter are not representative. They're the idiots mostly. All right. So I don't know if there's an audience or not. What I find weird is you look at the messaging from Naughty Dog on it. They've cancelled it. It's not coming out at all because they don't want to pivot to being live service. They can't support both. Naughty Dog has like 800 and something people. 2,169 people worked on The Last of Us Part 2. The studio is not like unaware of the potential to outsource work that needs doing. So I was looking at this going, well, this isn't real, though. The messaging that you're giving us isn't real, because if you wanted to release this game, you've got 2 choices. You release it as a standalone product with a certain amount of server costs, and you run it as a package, and you don't chase the Fortnite dragon. Or you staff up, you build teams like Rare did for Sea of Thieves, or you outsource the live support and you release this thing and you chase that dragon. Neither of those options are cancel the product entirely. So it's weird because there is definitely more going on behind the scenes than what they have told us, but then we're consumers and we're not entitled to know the truth, really. So I get it, right? The messaging is all PR. They're trying to control where the outrage goes, control the timing. They've very deliberately done it right after Iron Lords go on holiday so that King doesn't get a chance to talk in it, but that's backfired because here he is.
I saw that too.
Everyone said that.
I said they didn't know that I have my own show. Y'all in trouble now.
And we have to have
make a video, I could just...
no, but you're right. But that's a scathing thing, isn't it, Asa? Like Naughty Dog's had a incredible journey for a while since Uncharted 1, then Uncharted 2 took it there, and then it kept going with 3, 4 to a certain degree, but it's like, The Last of Us, and this is a massive blotch. Like, am I exaggerating? Am I the console warrior celebrating because I have my own reasons, or is this something quite serious?
It's definitely quite serious. There's something going on there that we don't know about, because they spent, depending on who you listen to, between 5 and 9 years on this. So if they release it as nothing, they're not even including it. They're not doing a standalone multiplayer as part of the Last of Us remaster that's about to launch. They're not chasing it as a free-to-play whatever. They're not releasing it at all. That just means whatever has happened is so bad that they just said, right, we're better off throwing this money down the drain, just writing it off, put a cross through that line. That's money wasted. And you see the developers, and I feel for them because I'm sure they're very sincere in saying this, but they talk about how much they've learned and how good this game was and how much fun they were having playing it internally. But there is more to the story. There was, it is a disaster internally for Sony, absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
That's their first big look. GAAS. They had 10 GAAS games. Naughty Dog's big one faction could have led out the game.
They had 18.
18 what? Sorry.
They had 18 games of service out of the 25 games that they.
12.
No, it was 18. It was a complete 18. So half the time I don't ever, talk about exactly what I know. Out of those 25 games, 18 of those games was games of service. They went hard at games of a service, right? Yeah. Now, you can probably say 6 of those games was conceptual, 12 of those games were literal, and what they did was half those games. But the 12 games should come out over a period of time. It's just they don't have the finances to run these games. The reason why Microsoft is so successful is because the Azure cloud service that they invested heavy in all across the world, they have the leverage to do so. They don't have to worry about, well, they do worry about server costs and running servers and stuff like that, but then you got to look at Microsoft prop as $1 trillion company opposed to $1 billion company, which is Sony.
Yeah.
In order to do so, then you have to either pivot the company in a way that live service is your service base and what you're going to go after, or you have to do, like Asa said, outsource a lot of the stuff which is cost effective. You have to really look at the books, and somebody is squeezing the books to the point that game, which they said they had a lot of fun with, is not going to be released. It's more, like Asa said, than what's being told. It's absolutely more than what's being told.
There's definitely a story there that I'd love to know what happened with that and where that leaves
Bungie.
Sony's Bungie. Well, yeah. And the Bungie in the mix makes it fucking crazy because Bungie's in absolute turmoil. Half of them don't want to work there, and the morale is low, and the other half are hoping to be swallowed to get some reprieve, but then whatever makes Bungie, their independence identity, just goes down the toilet.
It's done.
And that's $3 billion. You'd have to be very. Who could make an argument in favor of the investment in Bungie now? From Sony's perspective, but you don't remember. I've always said they're overpaid. Said they're overpaid.
Yeah, you don't remember when the Sony fan base was like, "Yeah, we got." I remember when they were saying, "Yeah, we got Halo."
Yeah, we got Halo. Yeah,
we got the DNA. We got Halo. Ha ha! We got your Halo. How does it feel now that you realize the reason why Microsoft didn't want to wipe them back up? Yeah. You know how when you date a person and that moment y'all get back together, you hang out, and you realize. That's why we broke up.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
When they acquired Bungie, they thought they were getting that original team, that created the magic that we know as Halo. But it was the whole ecosystem. It was them working within Xbox that actually made Halo so great. And I think they tried to slap a number on that and tried to buy that. And unfortunately, you can't buy that because every business relationship, every personal relationship is different as well. So it's like, sorry, honey, it's not going to be the same. You have to work at that. You have to make that happen. And unfortunately, they just haven't made it happen. They thought that they would come in, wave the magic wand, and just do it. But quite frankly, the live service game that they wanted to provide was not going to work because they haven't cleaned up their own in-house live service stuff, like their PS program. Like it just they need to fix their own backyard before they can be looking at others and being like, oh, you know what, that's really good. I wonder if I could grow that plant in my backyard. It's like, mate, you haven't even fertilized the soil yet, you know?
But I thought they go with organic growth. What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just buy it, you know.
I mean, the thing is, this is the problem this is the same criticism that is Xbox levied at Xbox, because Xbox has gone out and bought instead of fertilizing the soil, as you say. So you can argue against them as well. The problem is the heavy reliance on, and it's quite obvious based on Sony not only acquiring them for a very high, eye-watering price compared to ZeniMax. That's just for a singular studio with a singular IP, really. Well, now it's got a couple and it's got Marathon, but they've spent all that money on that. Then they've desperately tried to squeeze value out of it, get them to basically conduct an audit on Naughty Dog, the top tier studio's multiplayer component, which ends up failing. So all of this suggests, and then we find out that the staff are in turmoil, and that completely throws a spanner in the works. And that goes to show to me that Sony have a big problem now. This is, console warring aside, they spent a big chunk of money for Sony and invested it into a studio that looks like, for which they wanted to pay $1 billion staff retention, and people are not happy. So that's a big problem for PlayStation. Right off the bat, the GAAS pivot is in tatters because everyone was looking at Naughty Dog to lead the way. And I believed in Naughty Dog. Like I was saying, can you imagine Factions? That's going to be the one. I have my tweets out there. I've said it loads of times on the show. They can do multiplayer really well. That's dead now.
I knew for a fact that Factions wasn't going to be the one. You know why?
Why? Yeah.
The same reason why the first Factions wasn't the one. You get it. I mean, it's a good game, but it's a niche game inside the Sony's ecosystem that a very small fraction of the fan base actually plays. You know, I saw people when they was cutting the servers off, it was just a small fraction of people. Like, BG, shout out to BJ, he actually really plays the game.
Yeah.
But you're trying to get a fan base to care about characters that they don't care about. You have to, if it's a story-driven game, and you want people to care about Ellie, Joel, and all these other characters, then you turn it into a multi-service game. It's not going to work. The reason why Halo works so well in multi-service and multi-plat and stuff like that is because everybody that plays that game is Master Chief.
Yeah.
Everybody. Every time you pick up a Spartan, it's Master Chief. Yeah. So when you play Factions, am I right or wrong? You're picking up a generic character that isn't integral or to the story. So you can't feel empowered.
See, they had an idea but apparently, and we never saw the light of day of this, but apparently they had this idea of making it like a co-op thing. So there'd be teams of 2 and you'd build this character up. But it would never be
of characters you don't care about.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Actually,
Not like this is the reason Call of Duty where you can be Nicki Minaj, right?
Okay, well, that's totally different, right? Okay, so that's the same thing. Okay, so that's going into the Fortnite bag. That's capitalizing on a fan base that's already existing in another ecosystem that you're drawing in. Because when people saw Nicki Minaj, all those barbs that's down with that don't care a damn thing about Call of Duty, picked up a place where they can play Call of Duty. Picked up the Nicki Minaj because I gotta support Nicki Minaj. Don't know anything about Call of Duty.
Minajes in the game. Have you played Modern Warfare 3?
No, I don't play the multiplayer. I play the single, and this was the year that the single player is the shortest. But I'm just saying. So, the fact of the matter is,
you love that skin.
Yeah, I bet. Does it have twerk physics? Anyway,
I've not seen that yet.
Yeah, but it's Grand Theft Auto 6.
Someone's modded it for sure.
But the process with that is you have to be big enough in order to pull from different places.
Yeah.
The Last of Us isn't, right? And they haven't even built on what they had. When they did have Factions, they never took Factions and made it into something that could be greater. If they would have put Factions inside the games of service online and pushed it, to everybody that was there. This is the problem. This is the fundamental problem. Sony wants to have their hands in everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're the jack of all trades, master of none.
Of none.
And it used to be story-driven narrative games.
Mm-hmm.
The kids nowadays, and this is the reason why Sony is actually slipping off the radar, have an attention span of a gnat. Okay? And
11 minutes.
It's a scrolling culture, right? They are scrollers, they're TikTokers. This is what they are. You have to have that dopamine hit that hits them immediately. All right. So everybody that's sitting there, campaigning for Spider-Man or campaigning for these story games, they last for 8 hours and then they're on to the next. Sony doesn't have anything that keeps you sitting there.
Yeah.
To keep giving you that dopamine. They had it in factions where they could have made you care about these characters. They could have made the world go if they would have gave into their service. They can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. They must go fully into their services to show the value there in order to generate the magic money. Remember when I talk about magic money? That's money that you make when you sleep, that you don't have nothing to do, that people are jumping on, playing your service, paying for your service, and it's reoccurring, but you're doing nothing. They don't have that in their PlayStation services, and they need that. And they're so reluctant in giving their first party to their services in order to produce magic money because they think they're going to lose out on the money of the single player games being sold. They're delusional, and they need to invest in their services in order to make PlayStation fractions and stuff like that grow. The money is not there. They need the money in order to make that stuff happen.
And that existential crisis that they're having is going to play because they strongly committed to this GAAS model, and they even put a number out there, even if the conservative 10. I don't know if that makes that 9 or the number that you're suggesting. That the first game that they roll out as a GAAS game, we're going to have to see whether that hits as well. It's a very saturated market. A lot of entrants in the space have disappeared. Even good initial games.
It's not just saturated. It's a market where the people that are good in that space have actually moved on. Like if you look at the GAAS market and the trend of chasing games as a service, Sony right now are where Ubisoft were like 3 or 4 years ago when they were trying with Roller Champions and that Hyperscape one that shut down and all the rest. The whole industry was chasing games as a service. Sony are now chasing games as a service, but the people that are good at it, like Epic and Fortnite, they've moved on to creating platforms now. They've seen what Roblox are doing, and Fortnite is not GAAS anymore. It is a platform in itself. So I think you're more likely to see success building a service game within Fortnite than putting your studios on it as a Sony first party or a Ubisoft or an EA. But my question for you, and I'll start with Doom Cutie because you've not said anything for a little bit. Do you see another live service game like breaking through the veneer that's already kind of set? Do you see one rising from anywhere? Are we going to get another big live service that shakes things up?
From PlayStation?
From anyone.
Don't know. From anyone. Gosh, you know what? Fortnite has redefined the genre in general. I don't think anyone will be able to do what they're doing right now. They have been I know people laughed at them in the beginning. They were like, "Oh, it's a kids game." People are just buying skins, but like to be fair, they've created a platform. It's a really unique space, and I'm really not sure anyone is going to really break through that. I don't know. You know what? I would love to see Nintendo break through a little bit more. I know that they've done a lot with their Mario Kart series, but if they could do open world online serviced Mario, I think that would be a lot of fun. But that's just me thinking about what's fun, what's cool, and who could potentially do it. And I think if anyone could, it could be them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but in terms of PlayStation, you think the ship has sailed?
Oh, honestly, you're asking a bird to swim. quite frankly, like they have done single player games for so long, and anything that is successful as an online service game is third party. So maybe they just need to concentrate on what they do really, really well, rather than being having this idea that they can chase the same trends, unless something brand new comes in that really blows everything out of the water. I really just don't see it coming at the moment at all.
Okay. What about you, King? What would you do if you're Sony?
Well, not that. I mean, to answer Ace's question first, I'll get to the Sony question. To answer Ace's question, I believe so, Asa. I believe that there's somebody that has an ingenious idea that somewhere that is going to make a game that's going to hit. We saw Fall Guys. We saw games like that. These games actually come out of nowhere from the ingenious minds of people that actually play games and actually say, I want to see this. So, as much as Epic has made Fortnite into a platform, at some point it's going to be so big that it's going to actually fail. At some point in time, does it look like a reality of it right now? No, because they're able to pivot and move in ways that no company has ever been able to pivot and move. But also, Epic has told you themselves that it's not sustainable. They've told you with as much money if they're making, it's not sustainable, which is absolutely wild to me, because that makes me think of Call of Duty with Warzone and other companies that are doing like Apex and stuff like that. If Fortnite is doing that and they're saying that, what the hell are these other people saying? So it's going to come out of someplace. Now, Sony, the issue, what you said, Gaz, can Sony do something? Yes, you need the right person in charge.
Yeah.
Everybody, if you really think about it, Microsoft was betting on Phil to fail. When Don, excuse me, when Don did what he did, and Don did a lot of good stuff. And we're not going to sit here and say that Don didn't do a lot of good stuff. He did a lot of good stuff, but the stuff was mixed messaging, and everybody wasn't in lockstep with this guy. So Phil came up, and he's the nice guy. He's the lifer. He's been there. He's made good impressions on everybody that he's met. Sony proper, I believe, set him up to fail, send him in Pachinki with a frying pan, and was like, yeah, have at it, bro. They're going to kill him. and we can just blame this guy. He's never run a company. He's we can blame it on his inexperience. Yeah. They didn't know that they had a real tiger there. And this guy, and when I met him, and I told Cog, I was like, nah, this guy's, he's the one. He's the one. And you have to know the tenacity of an individual that no matter what happens, luck is going to favor them. And a lot of people said that he was doing stuff, smiling, kissing babies, politician stuff like that. But that stuff is necessary. But in the mind of a cunning individual, he knows what he needs to do to get to where he has to get to. He had to get to the purse strings. He had to get to Satya, because the people that was above him before wasn't allowing him to get to the bag to do the stuff that he needed. Changed everything around. Sony needs their fill, right? They already had their Don when it comes to Jim. Jim has sunk in the ship. He's the inside man. He has destroyed everything from the inside out. He focused on PlayStation VR 2, which was a passion project. It should have ended at PlayStation VR 1. This Portal, this is a dead weight that should have never came out. The redesign on the console should have never came out. The PlayStation Pro should not be in production, should not come out. You should not chase hardware.
Why not the Pro? Because it's supposed to be coming. Rumored to be the specs are going to be.
No, it's going to be next year. It's going to be next year. It's going to be next year in September. Yeah, for $600. The reason why, if you put out the Pro, you lock yourself. You put your feet in concrete. You lock yourself and you're stuck, because Microsoft is able to leapfrog you the next year or the year after that with the next generation. And you are stuck right there with that hardware that you just put out, and you run the risk of destroying your fan base, because they're saying there's too many iterations. This is the reason why you should. If you was going to do a Pro, don't do this redesign. You understand?
Yeah.
But you had to do the redesign because you was losing too much money on the double SKUs that you was putting out. The mixed messaging within the company is hurting the company. You need a fill. You need somebody with a one-track mind and getting the company to where it needs to be. I don't know who that person is. I don't know if that person exists in Sony or if they have to go get a person. But what I do know is, if they don't move away from the traditional numbers of hardware, they're going to run the company into the ground. They have to chase the engagement numbers, because if this is your metric is Fortnite, your metric is all these other games, they run off of engagement. They don't run off of hardware sales. So if
that's exactly what Sony themselves said when it came to the rationalizing why the what's it called? The handheld. What's it called?
Right. The portal?
The portal. They said we don't care about the hardware sales. We care about extending engagement numbers.
Well, then you should not put that crap out because you can't extend anything without it being actual a device that can actually travel on the go. That thing has a lot of issues within itself. You should have remember when everybody was saying Microsoft should have put out a handheld. Yeah. That's the exact reason why they didn't. I got a ROG. I can play myself. I got a Steam Deck.
That's a native device that seems to have done really well, including the Steam Deck.
Right.
But the thing is, the Sony's Portal apparently is selling really well.
No, it's not.
Now.
Stop that.
Well,
all right. Okay,
don't spout that nonsense.
All right. The reason why I'm going to tell you, and you know the reason why I'm going to tell you this, if you make 25 or something and you put 25 or something in the store, hey, it's sold really well. All right. Yo, literally, as you're saying that, I have my scalper friend hit me right now, and I swear for God, no lie, right now. Okay, hold on. You see that?
Yeah, what's he saying?
He has portals.
Oh, okay.
He has portals.
What scalping though? That suggests
he has portals. I said, how much you got him for? 100, 150? You got to understand how the scalping thing works. They're either stolen products, fenced products, or whatever the hell, right? Yeah. They got from ill-gotten means, and they're sold at a loss that benefits the scalper.
Yeah.
All right. So that part to the side.
How much you selling for?
They never put out. As soon as I know, I'll let you know.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Not that I want to buy one, by the way.
Well, I will get one for shits and giggles. But the fact I'm a hardware nut. The problem is Sony needs to really think about where they want to be in this industry, because if their fan base is still propping them up and they're getting upset with the moves that are being made now, they're getting upset with everything that's happening at the moment. I don't know how many revisions you can have to the existing hardware that you keep gouging the public. You put out a digital at a higher price that the original came out, $50 more to get back that $50 you lost the first time.
But they're selling. They're selling bad. Whereas Xbox is struggling.
Are they selling? See, you gotta GAAS. GAAS. And you notice, breath. You notice if me and you go to the club and I'm telling you I'm selling a whole bunch of stuff and both of our wallets equal the same and you're selling 2/3 less than me.
Yeah.
Something's wrong, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
That's the problem. They're selling. No, Xbox is making the same amount of money, not selling half of what they're selling.
Oh, well, then in terms of revenue, that's the revenue / profit argument.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
See, that number shit is only good for the PlayStation dudes. We selling 4 to 1. Bro, we got the same car. It doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, we live in the same complex. We live in the same condominium. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. If you sell 20 and I sell 1, if I still make the same amount of money as you, something's wrong with you, right? So
look,
numbers
at the end
don't
of the day,
make sense.
The only numbers I care about are the ones attached to $signs, and I think everyone
and
should,
Microsoft is making the $signs, and you got to figure out how to get into that. And if Microsoft made the pivot to services and made the pivot to engagement, Sony needs to follow suit. The only people that can spout this number talk is Nintendo, because they actually have an attach rate that makes sense. They sell 50 million of a game. Sony has never sold 50 million of anything. So, I mean, except for consoles. And if you sold 50 million of a console, how come you don't got 50 million sales in God of War?
Well, because that's the disparity between engagement numbers. But we go down. No, absolutely. Nintendo's an outlier here.
I wish I could see your eyes right now. I bet they'd be as big as those glasses.
I'm laughing because Ace is like, that really made some sense.
Yo, Blaze, shout out to Blaze in the chat. Blaze goes, same car, except you all have cloth seats. Yours.
Blaze, you know for a fact, and I love you to death. You know I love you.
I love Blaze, yeah.
But right now you're terrified. because you're looking down the barrel of the gun and you're saying, is that bullet meant for me? and I'm gonna say this, right? Next year is gonna be your worst year. Next year is going to be PlayStation's worst year because you don't have a roadmap, and you're talking about third parties because right now third parties are supposed to matter. First parties are supposed to matter, right? Now it only matters now because Microsoft is about to throw first parties down your throat so bad. Pause. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. So now you got to pivot to third parties because that's going to be your savior. I tell you this, in March, and I want everybody to hear me, in March, you're going to get the announcement for Final Fantasy Rebirth and Remake is going to be inside Xbox. In March, you're going to get that announcement. This is when your stomach is going to churn. This is when it's going to start to bubble. This is when it's going to happen. When Call of Duty is announced and it's inside Game Pass next year, that's when you're going to actually have to go get a diaper because actually this is when it's going to start to spool out. Understand the fan base that went over there just for Call of Duty is going to leave and go this way. Y'all going to put out a pro for no reason, and that's going to sink you. That pro is going to be the albatross around your neck. That is going to be your Dreamcast. That's where you die.
Ooh, damn. In fact, I have a different take on that, but that's a pretty crazy thing to say. Let me just quickly read these super chats before we go into it a little bit more and the next topic and kind of the hilarity of what happened in the run up to this. But before that, the Gamer Guy 1981, thank you for the $2 super checker. Source, Doom, GAAS, and King Epic. Yes, it has been. We have just begun. Champagne Supernova with the $2. Jim Ryan's cookies shipped before Factions did. And yeah, at least there's some value to that, right? Apart from Broken Dreams. Shout out. I can't believe they made those cookies, by the way. Just pure meme material. And Champagne again, he goes, shout out to IGN making Destin Ice Skate uphill with how to cancel the Game Pass article. Xbox has no games and dooming Starfield player numbers. Source. Yo, come on. What's your take on? Look, I'd be quite scathing of IGN. I said it's a bloated organization. It runs like ass. They take the piss and there's just gagging for those engagement numbers. Destiny is nice. There's some individuals in there that are nice, but there's some who are shit. IGN generally is shit. But this week we saw them getting a lot of flack for whilst Destiny is out there like a martyr, trying to defend the company that he works for. It seems like IGN seems to shoot themselves and him in the process. You've been quite vocal on this Xbox tax business. What's your view on IGN, King?
You know my view on IGN. I want them to die like Sony. Well, listen, we have a website called lordsofgaming.net. So this is the same reason why if they would have ever brought us in to work with them, we will kill them from within, the same way Bungie killing y'all from within. We want to shine. All right, so, all right, with that aside, I do happen to like a lot of people that's over there, right? Yeah. And Destin is definitely one of them. The problem is he's in a company that they have to prop up Kong. You can't save Kong. Kong is going to die this time, bro. And I don't care what y'all do to keep Kong alive. You won't resuscitate him. He's going to die. And listen, for a lot of you ignorant individuals that say, Kong is American, Godzilla is Japanese, you're getting too literal with the joke, dude. You're getting too literal with the joke, all right? Just take the joke for what it is. Yeah, well, me, I picked Kong as PlayStation because if you watch the movie, IGN is the humans, and they're always trying to save Kong and always trying to culture Kong and always trying to make Kong seem like he's the hero. When Kong is the actual problem, he's the damn menace. Godzilla was fine this whole time. Kong is the one that they got to find a sanctuary for and bring him back to life and all this other stuff. And Godzilla can stand on his own. It's going to be a point in time where you can't save Kong. And this is it. It's happening. And you see the worm turning. And I love it. But I'm saying back to IGN, I think he's in a rock and a hard place. And at some point in time, I think he's going to move his brand away from them.
He's already started with his own channel. Let's be real.
His brand is big enough to stand on its own. No. So, and it's going to be a point where he doesn't need whatever they facilitate for him because they don't. He is an entity within itself, and he's able to move and do whatever he wants to do, and don't be associated with the stink, which is IGN.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think IGN has a stink associated with it. It's a large.
It's Kotaku, but English.
Yeah, it's Kotaku not English either. Oh, I don't know. The name suggests.
I thought Kotaku was Japanese. This is how uncultured I am.
I mean, it's still shit. So it's the same shit, different toilet. So I agree with that. Shout out to 908 of you. Just smash that like button if you enjoyed the source. Kotaku is Japanese, apparently, according to Surf. So you may be right.
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
I wouldn't wonder, why would you name your company Kotaku and you're American? I just would not understand.
I'm trying to go for the otaku kind of thing, I thought, but you never know. I've always associated them with that.
I associated them with trash, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, they are trash. Dowser with a £5 super chat. Concept art and broken dreams. That's the Sony 2024 roadmap. Yes, I was listening to Shattered Dreams by, what was that band called? Old 80s band. Damn it, don't remember. But yeah. Fantasticals, thank you for the €5 super chat. As someone who doesn't know shit about Neil Druckmann, why do you hate him so much, Gaz? I'm just curious. I don't like his politics. If you know about the story of The Last of Us Part 2, you'll realize what motivated him. But this is not that podcast for me to murk him. But he's a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned, and you will see it on my personal channel where I accost him for the propaganda that he laces into his games. Andre with the $5 super chat. Sony has had bad news since the PlayStation 5 came out. They still outsell the Xbox 4-1. Andre says, all this bad news, it doesn't affect Sony. King, you are wrong, he's suggesting.
Okay, so Andre, how many did you buy? I get out here with these numbers, Andre. How many did you buy? Because when they launched, I brought 5. So I want to know how many. Yeah, I brought 5 and I sold 4 of them and I kept 1 for myself. Of course, I'm a scalper myself. To hell with you. But Andre, seriously, does any of that help you right now? Right now, with your diaper on, Andre? Let me know right now. Did you sort yourself when I told you exactly what's going to happen, that you're going to become an app and it's not going to be a PlayStation 6? Hashtag you done.
You are still sticking to the PS6.
It's not going to come out because that death nail is going to be that stupid Pro. Just same way. Did you buy a Portal? Did you buy a PlayStation VR 2? Are you working out there? Are you helping? Why am I doing it? Why am I doing all this?
Why am I helping Sony?
I'm an Xbox dude. We eating good over here, and I'm still helping you guys out.
That's so interesting, your analogy and your position on the PS5 Pro, which I think will sell. Maybe not that much as like the PS5.
It's gonna sell them straight to hell.
Well, so funny enough, a couple of weeks ago on the show, I talked about a source confirming basically that, or suggesting that the Xbox is actually going to undercut the PS6, whether or not it's a USB stick or not. King, just humor me for a sec. Just imagine it's a console, and the suggestion is, and Jeff Grubb has come out this week to say the same thing, and I think it's not got the same source, but it's funnily enough from a PlayStation insider of him. I don't think we have the same. No, we don't have. I actually reached out to the source on that. But he's saying the same thing, that Xbox is going to. They're understanding that the Xbox is actually going to release, by forsaking a mid-gen console, they're going to attempt to release their new console in 2026, 2027. Just to undercut Sony, get more mind. Well, I don't know what the rationale is. I imagine that's the rationale, to undercut Sony in the next gen console, which has so then they come in a little bit early,
360 style.
360 style. So now there are pros and cons to that. And I just wanted to, before we get to you, Asa, I don't know if we talked about this in detail with you. I just want to get your thoughts on it now that Jeff is also talking about it and it's gaining steam. What do you think of the strategy if it does turn out to be true? I mean, everything's subject to change, but I think it's a good move because I think Xbox needs some breathing space to get the eyes on and it's a huge marketing beat. But there are some negatives on the power front. What's your take on it? If you were Microsoft, would you consider going ahead of PlayStation and releasing a console 2026, 2027?
I've said before, if I were Microsoft and I were planning my console hardware life cycle, I would not look at Sony at the moment because I don't need to. They are playing their own game and they put a lot of work into the foundation to let them shift through generations without changing generations, and that is entirely what I anticipate that they're doing. So the timing of their release and the way that they launch it, like there's been all this speculation about whether Blade is going to be an Xbox Next game. It's going to be an Xbox Series X and S game, whether it's on the next one or not, because that's how the generation is going to transition. They're not going to do the hard reset that console generations used to do. They're going to release some more powerful hardware, and they're going to integrate that generation as smoothly as possible and keep things traveling forwards and backwards compatibility all of the way for several years before they're ready to drop the previous one. So in terms of timing, they don't need to look at, like, I mean, it is console hardware, right? So the console landscape makes a lot of sense, and how Sony is selling versus them at the moment is going to play some kind of role in their thinking, but it's not the most important thing whatsoever. The console for Microsoft is one option, one on-ramp into the Game Pass ecosystem, and it is not more than that, and it doesn't need to be more than that. So I said when all the Pro speculation was coming out and it was shown up that Xbox apparently don't have a Pro or whatever it may be, I said I'd be very surprised if they don't have something coming. I said end of 2025 was more what I thought, and then we had all these leaks and some other developments happened that made me go, this is curious. But I think their intention from the start was to have something sooner because they had just geared up for it. Obviously, the markets and hardware prices have not gone in the direction they expected at the start when they released this thing. They didn't expect the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series consoles to go up in price a couple of years later. So things have definitely happened that impacted the roadmap, but they are geared up to release a console whenever the hell they want.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. They're not even. So when you were talking about this, that Microsoft is not really concerned with what Sony's doing, kind of leads me to my the other topic now. There's a lot of conjecture, and I know we disagreed with this fundamentally on the point of Microsoft going third party. I pushed out a tweet saying, well, there was a little bit of a tongue in cheek there, but there's this idea that Microsoft's games will appear on on other platforms. I'm vehemently against that idea when it comes to making titles available on a PlayStation, for instance. What's your view on Xbox? So say Blade comes out on PlayStation, and Xbox is now like, because Fon says he doesn't give a shit. It's all about Game Pass to him. I think it would be the biggest fucking mistake ever. What was your take on that? Should Microsoft even entertain the notion of not Game Pass on PlayStation? Because we've kind of agreed that's almost an impossibility because PlayStation don't want that. Xbox's first-party games appearing on PlayStation, because I'm hearing some things. But what do you think?
Hey.
Yeah, but Xbox's first-party games appearing on PlayStation going forward. Yeah, sorry, you, Asa. Sorry, you.
Okay. You know that I'm all in favour of it. It's just more people get to play these things. I understand your angle and the need for competition, but I always say to you that competition is not going anywhere. So if everybody released games everywhere, that would not spell the end of competition, because Blade still needs to get people playing it. It still needs to be a brilliant game. There's nothing Microsoft can do. They can't go, we're releasing this on PlayStation now, so this doesn't need to be as good as Spider-Man anymore. Like, the opposite would be true. This thing would need to be freaking awesome to get any kind of engagement whatsoever. And if they're releasing these games on PlayStation, does it diminish the value of an Xbox console? Yeah, it freaking does. Of course it does. Their games are on other platforms. Their games are already on other platforms. Yeah. They've made the decision to diminish the value of the console hardware, and it's a good decision as far as I'm concerned. I'm happy to be able to play those games on my PC right now. And would that mean that there is no competition in the console hardware space? No, it would mean that they'd need to find other ways to make valuable hardware. At the moment, one thing that I hate about console hardware, more so previous generation, but this generation as well, you got two boxes here that have essentially really freaking similar hardware, like really, really similar hardware, and I have to buy both of them if I want to play all of the games. For me as a consumer, that's like 500 quid wasted because I'm duplicating my hardware. If I could have one piece of hardware that could do it, I've saved myself 500 quid. I win in that situation as far as I'm concerned. If they then have these two identical pieces of hardware, identical catalogs of games, and they have to give me a reason to buy that console, they're going to do some interesting things that will probably work out in my favor. So if Microsoft were to release games on the PlayStation and all the rest of it, it doesn't hurt me in any way at all as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that it's necessarily happening. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying don't fret over the potential of competition going away, because there will always be competition.
That's an interesting take. I don't think I entirely agree there, but I want to substantiate. But I want to get Doom. What's your view on that? If Microsoft ended up going third party and their games started appearing from the first party studios, you can get, say, Hellblade 2 goes on PlayStation 5. Do you think that's okay?
No, God, no. What do you mean?
Why?
What? Why would they do that? That'd be like
money. They'll get me loads of people getting money, which is what business is. Well,
like, look, I the thing is, right? It's kind of like we have. My team is Xbox, right? That's my favorite football team, you know. And you know, I have my strongest player at the moment is, you know, this particular one. And then they're like, oh, I'm gonna play on this team as well. Like, I don't know. It's not, sometimes feels.
But the business of it all, like if you're rationalizing it.
Yeah, but I understand making more money. When we all play, we all win. I know, Phil. I know.
Phil.
I know, Phil. Okay, no, as in I know when we all play, we all win. But in saying that, I feel like it's rewarding PlayStation in a way, even though they've had like a pretty dodgy time of things. So, you know, like, look, if fucking okay, fine, put Hellblade on PlayStation, whatever. I'm just not happy. Like, if they put Forza on PlayStation, like, what? Why? You don't. No one likes it.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. What would that take away from your enjoyment of it?
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah. So they'd say no to money.
Maybe people would get out of my DMs calling me an expert then.
Maybe
because then they could play the same games that I could play. And you know what? I now have the money to, you know, I've been able to acquire a PS5, so I can enjoy all these other games, and I have got a PC and I have got an Xbox, so I can play everything if I want. So, you know, it's not really a big deal to me. But in saying that, like, I don't think it should just be automatic. I feel like I have allegiance to what I have allegiance to, and I feel like that would, you know, if we put like a big title on another platform and they did nothing to help, if anything, they did everything to hinder it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
It's a rivalry, constant rivalry. I understand that more than anyone.
Can I reframe this slightly for King? So for me, just to clarify, like, I'm asking this question or answering this question from my perspective. When you're asking me if Microsoft should release these things, I'm saying whether it would harm me or not. I'm not saying whether it's best for Microsoft to release games on other platforms. That's a whole different question. But that's the question that I'm going to ask for King, because King's already established in his timeline that the PlayStation 6 doesn't exist. So Microsoft are going to have... Yeah, that's fair enough. Like, Microsoft are going to have a different relationship with Sony in that world, though. So what do you think? Do you think Blade and all the rest of them should come to the new whatever PlayStation becomes, or how should this play out in future?
What, to the app?
The software, Microsoft's games. Yeah, to the app.
All right. No. You're going to get legacy titles. I told people before, it's just you're going to get games of service, anything that can gouge your community and your fan base, anything that's going to keep the engagement high. Because what Microsoft looks at, and they don't look at PlayStation as a competitor. As much as you ponies out there feel that y'all winning, y'all are losers, bro. Like it's not so bad that Microsoft told you before, we would love to help you out. we don't view you as competitors, and we would love to put games on your console. And these guys ran with it like, oh, we got to get Blade. No. Sit down, calm down for a second. Wait a second. Calm down. You're going to get Call of Duty. You're going to get Elder Scrolls Online, and you're going to get whatever online services that we want to put over there. And you're going to have fun with it. But you're going to say something like, well, King, we had Deathloop. You had Deathloop because the deal was in place, and Phil is a man of his word. I'm going to honor these deals because, remember, the feds are watching you, monkeys. They're still in court right now trying to finish you off.
King, what are you saying? I don't even know what you're saying.
The FTC is still watching them. right? So they're still in court right now, right? So they can't tell you, oh, when you show Blade on screen, only on Xbox. Why? Because that's it right there. Sorry. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep games from the consumer. Calm down. We're going to let this deal pass. Let everything go through. Let the FTC shut up. Let them fail on their appeal. Let them waste more of King's money fighting a stupid war against Microsoft. But you guys are not, you're getting Popeye's biscuits. The hope for you guys is that y'all going to get some exclusive stuff. You're not getting Forza. You're not getting GAAS. You're not getting Halo. You're not getting a Hellblade. You're not getting a Vow. You're getting nothing. I can't even start naming. What do you have to offer? What are you giving me? I thought we had no games. Like, why are you port begging? Stop begging. Like, get away from me, you heathen. I don't want to give you anything. Get away from me. You only get what I give you. And I want you to have nothing. Actually, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I want to put stuff over there that has no real value. I want you to have everything that we don't care about. So we care if we gouge your pockets. We care if we continue to have you buying a new skin in Call of Duty. Yes, continue to play. Yes, you idiot. Continue to play. But we will have the good stuff. And if you want the good stuff, you will have to buy an Xbox. Now, you asked me about the leapfrogging in the consoles and if Microsoft is going to do that. They're going to beat the brakes off you so bad when you put out that Pro. The Pro locks you in place so that you can't give another iteration to your hardware for the next 2 to 3 years, where Microsoft is going to put out the new hardware. Oh, new shiny thing, new shiny toy. I like new shiny stuff. They're going to go to the new shiny thing. Then the new shiny thing has all the bells and whistles. Oh, new shiny thing. Then you come out, let's say somebody over there got some money. You got an infusion from Apple, and you do put out a PlayStation, because you don't have any money to do this. I'm telling you right now. You're going to put out a PlayStation 6. For what? Why? Because Microsoft is just going to come behind you and have a mid-gen refresh. Everything's back compat. Y'all so stupid. I mean, I really don't understand you. You guys, and y'all sitting there talking about the PlayStation Pro is going to be so powerful. Y'all still playing on a PlayStation 4, right? They didn't even get a 5 yet. I heard one dude on my mention said, I'm waiting for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Why? You're not taking advantage of the PlayStation 5 as it is. What happened to the SSD? That was a lie. What happened to the juggling nature of the console? That was a lie. Everything that they told, yes. Tell the truth, guys. You can play Ratchet and Clank right now on a regular hard drive. Yeah, it has loaded, SSD, but you can do it.
But come on, the power narrative hasn't exactly panned out well for the Xbox as well.
Okay, you saw Hellblade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You saw it, right? Yeah, you did. You saw it, and now you saw 12 teraflops. You was looking at the screen like, oh my God, that's 12 teraflops. You saw it.
That's not what I said.
And then they came right behind and showed you God of War Arena mode, and you was like,
That's supposed to be good.
That don't really look like how I thought it was gonna look like. Exactamente. It's over.
But look, what do you say? So you are quite. So my position is Xbox shouldn't even, because Xbox is. You say feels the shock, but
that's right.
I hear a lot of kumbaya shit.
You thought so? Stop lying. Stop lying. Was it kumbaya when Starfield didn't show up? Was it kumbaya?
No.
Talk about it. Okay, so wouldn't that be the kumbaya moment? Here's an olive branch, buddy. Here, take this, and then maybe me and you could be friends. He don't care to be your damn friend. He told you. No, You ain't getting that. And y'all was like, you need our money. Shut up. Number one in MPD. Still rocking, baby. We don't need your cash. We found out that you don't buy games. You don't buy games. So why the hell we going to put it over there when you don't buy games? You know what you do? You buy skins. If it's a free game, you buy skins. So we're going to put all our stuff over there that we don't care about. And y'all going to keep on buying skins, you skin junkies. And we having fun with you. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. Y'all not getting any games. And don't sit there and talk about Phil won Kumbaya. Phil told you we don't see them as competition. You are the flies on an elephant's butt. You are not a threat. It's not like he looks over and sees another elephant. No, he sees a fly on his butt. That's all you guys are. And soon you're going to disappear. Just like, what was that? Factions. Gone into the ether. And nobody's going to care anything about you. But right now, why don't y'all beg for factions? Stop begging for our games. Please. Leave us alone. We don't want y'all.
So the timing of the brilliant monologue, by the way,
thank you.
Delivered. Excellently delivered. That's going to be...
No, but King, you're right. If they use like a quarter of the energy that they use to like hate on people who love Xbox, like to actually, make Sony accountable and say, hey, like we were promised at least 12. And now what, we're getting 6? What the fuck? Like, they should be outraged. If this was us, if Phil said, hey, Xbox users, we're going to have this many live service games and we didn't get those, you're damn right. We'd get the pitchforks out and be like, hey, Phil, what's going on? Like,
But they don't got, who are they going to talk to? Who's in charge?
Who's in charge here?
Right? You can't yell at Jim, he gonna throw a cookie at you. Right? So you can't yell at Jim because Jim ain't there. So who the hell you gonna talk to? Really? You gonna be yelling at a brick wall? Sony, I need you to be accountable. There's nobody home. Like literally,
no one is doing that. That's the problem. There's only very few people. So the way this panned out was fucking hilarious. You had the same day Blade released its concept art, which we'll talk about next. And then you got Persona come out and goes, which concept art is better? On the same day, and he compared the Last of Us factions with Blade, which is hilarious in itself. Everyone's rinsing him for that. And then that very day, just in a few short hours, Naughty Dog cancels factions. It was fucking poetic just seeing that. But so shout out to BG. I always get it in the neck because I like BG. If I was a pony, I would be BG. Like, he is, I don't know why people don't like him, but he is one of the few people on the PlayStation side, along with Jack Move, but for different reasons for Jack. Two guys I really respect as content creators, as PlayStation fans as well, that he is so pissed. He's been so resolute, and it feels like it's almost a one-sided battle with him and his community as a PlayStation guy demanding some good inroads and development in multiplayer. And he predicated the obvious, really, that immediately off the bat, there would be damage control. That people would say, oh, no, that's good. They're going back to single player. This is what we wanted Naughty Dog to do. Waste 10 years, well, God knows how much making this thing, and then completely forsake you and release 2 fucking remasters. That's what you really wanted. It's stupid, though. And if I was part, like, that would vex me. Like, being like an Xbox fan, some of the shit that the Xbox community does vexes me when you do critique stuff. But his battle against the PlayStation community is a raw one because they constantly just have this aversion to multiplayer whilst pretending that they don't care.
I just think he's positioning himself as an Xbox guy for later on.
I don't think so.
Hey, BG, I love you.
BG's legit.
I love you, BG, but I think you're doing a little bit of positioning, getting in good with the in crowd.
I was always a fan of Xbox.
Well,
he's not like that.
I always called out PlayStation. If you can look at my track record.
Nah, BG's legit, man.
He's from the town. That's my guy.
Yeah, no, he's legit. And then his monologue delivered this was a massive failure and a slap in the face of PlayStation. And if the PlayStation community won't call it out, the biggest piss take is that Naughty Dog disabled comments on their thing.
Yeah, that's like your girlfriend putting you on block, like she mutes you. And after she had the argument, and she put you on mute.
Yep, that's it. Absolutely. You can't cheating. I'm like, you just cheat on me. He goes, yes, I did. Mute. Boom. Done. Don't talk to me. That's it. Done. Can you imagine?
It was dope. It was dope. You know how many quote tweets went out? It was dope. It was dope.
Yeah, they didn't realize the quote tweets would do a lot of damage that the disabling comments would not.
Yeah, would help. Neil said, damn, look at all these quote tweets. What's going on here?
Oh, man. Shout out to 933 of you in the chat. Face 23, Brooklyn, New York. He is coming for you, King, with a $20 super chat. He goes, Xbox will never be number one in gaming. Thought you'd be used to it by now, since they're always third place behind Sony and Nintendo.
Bet that.
Xbox Inception.
Bet that. Thank you for your $20. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it, because $20 to throw down this well to get roasted like you're about to get is crazy.
Oh my God.
But I'm going to tell you this, right? No, and I'm going to be even nicer to you, because you was nice. You was nice. You wasn't really bad.
Your face is cool.
I want you to think about this. If you're number one, and we make the same amount of money, are you really number one?
Oh shit!
If you're number one and you're doing all this hard work, and I'm doing half the work that you're doing, and we're still getting the same pay, are you really number one? If you're number one and you're port begging, are you really number one? If you was number one, you wouldn't have super chat, because let me tell you something. What the lion doesn't do is worry about what the armadillo is doing over in the
shit. That's deep.
So I want you to really think about it. And this is a question within yourself. Are you really number one? Because number one really doesn't have to worry about what number three is doing. Exactly. So obviously the insecurities within yourself is telling you something there, Brev. Yeah. And right now, you're really looking like number two.
Oh,
that's a double entendre. You got that?
He said you look like shit, Face. Are you gonna take that?
That's not good doing that.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Face, if you want to drop another 20, do
it. Don't come for me unless I send for you, Face. Relax.
Jesting aside, there is a point to be made about the fact that the PlayStation community, a lot of the content creators who espouse the death of Xbox, despite what's happened with ABK completing and all of that, saying it's number three, and yet it's just so obsessed with what Xbox is doing. And now that what Xbox is doing has resulted into begging for Xbox games to appear on PlayStation, because PlayStation has a dog shit, almost non-existent public visible roadmap as far as first party is concerned. And that is a weird twist in a narrative. Now, whether or not Xbox, the thing is, I don't have faith like you do. You've met Phil Spencer, maybe my mind will be changed, but I feel they're too soft, and they cannot entertain the notion of their first party games coming to PlayStation, because I think that would just remove competition.
Their games is already on PlayStation, though. Huh? Call of Duty is on PlayStation right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's different. Yeah. But
why is it different?
Well, Hellblade 2 comes to PlayStation. You'd be okay with that?
No, you're not going to get my exclusive boo-boo.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm agreeing with.
No, you get to see the kids that we had in the old relationship. You get to see your children. Go see them. I don't care, but you don't get the chance to sleep with my girl. That doesn't happen.
Sleep with my new lady, of course.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah. No. That's what I'm saying. That kind of game. So like multiplayer GAAS, that's fine. Both sides are doing this kind of cross-pollination, but
no, they're not. GAAS, you're playing politics right now, GAAS.
Oh, listen. Politics.
Okay, so check it out.
Multiplayer games, so COD is there, and Marathon will be here.
Okay, Destiny, right?
Yeah.
Destiny told you before she even signed that, before you put the ring on, I like Phil and Xbox, and I'm gonna be anywhere. Are you okay with that? And they said, cool. All right, cool. We good with that. Marathon is a new game coming out from them. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a foregone conclusion. She for the streets. Yes.
Potentially, there's some subject to change. Subject to change.
Would you bet your knees on that?
No, I would not bet either way.
Because in your heart, you know she's going everywhere. All right. This is the point of contention with Blade. They announced Blade.
Yeah.
Why is it a question? Is she going to go someplace?
Didn't confirm it. They're scared to say it.
What the Monster Heart dudes are scared. When Starfield was announced, they told you, yeah, we had a port up for the PlayStation 5. Phil said, stop that.
Exactly.
Same thing with Red Bull.
Comes on stage, it's exclusive.
He said, stop that. He said, stop that. Why? He said it when it was necessary. In your heart, you got to know she's for you, man. You got to know that. I don't have to worry about that. I don't worry about that. I don't go to sleep at night saying, is Blade gonna be on PlayStation? No, because you're not getting it. You're not getting it. But see, this is the problem. PlayStation is very unsure about themselves because day and date we get MLB The Show inside Game Pass.
In different circumstances.
For free. You don't get to do that. This is a first-party studio launching day and date in our service for the free. And they don't have the balls enough to put it inside their service to give it to them. Listen, if it was my company, oh, hell no. They got it over. Y'all get it too.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't care about them. It's not weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's not weird. They don't care about them. And they know they will take anything and they will. You want to play baseball, $70. But Xbox don't pay. They get it for free. Why do I gotta pay? Because you're a sucker and you're gonna pay. And Xbox is gonna get it for free. So you shut up and you like it, and I love it. But don't worry about our games going over there to y'all. Y'all getting the same old stuff you got before. Legacy stuff. Play Doom. Go play Doom.
See? I want Phil Spencer to step down so you can take his place. Then I could rest easy.
I would run the company into the ground. I would run that company straight into the ground. Nobody would deal with me because I'm a
faith in you, man. I have faith in you. I was
surrounded by Xboxes.
I know for a fact my interests are best served if you are the head of Xbox, because that's what I want to hear from.
Okay.
You know,
I'm gonna say this.
At least in you, Major Nelson.
yeah, I'll take that. I say this.
You'd be amazing.
Y'all know internally, Matt Booty's that dude. Y'all saw in the paperwork. Guy? Somebody told me before, Matt Booty's that guy. I'm like, oh, Matt Booty? No, I don't think so. He said, yo, trust me. I'm telling you, he's that guy. Paperwork came out, and I was saying it before, but I just didn't really believe it. Paperwork came out. Matt Booty said, we got more money, we'll spend them out of business. When you have that mentality with somebody that's in charge, and he's been in charge of all Bethesda stuff, he's the reason why games are still day and date inside Game Pass, because Phil and them tried to roll that back. He said, to hell with you, we're going to leave it there. Yeah. He's that guy. He's me over there. He wants to kill y'all, and y'all gonna die because he's in charge.
Y'all gonna die. I'm gonna freaking copy that. That's being clipped for the next song. On that note, Richard Torres with the $2 super chat goes, PlayStation fanboys, peace sitting down. Thank you. Thank you, Richard. If you one with a $2 super chat, Xbox games on PlayStation would devalue Game Pass, or would it enhance the value? Because when people are spending that money, $70 on a PlayStation version, then Xbox Game Pass becomes wait, I can just get that subscription and get it for a much cheaper price. So I don't know if I agree with that. Dub being a member for 22 months. Great show as always. You've had Porter Rock, now OT on the show last week. When are we going to see MBG on the show to defend the stables? MBG doesn't talk to anyone but himself. He's never going on anyone else.
The reason why you won't see him go on somebody's show is because the conversation will always drove into his past.
Yeah.
And I think that,
is that Xbox?
No, not that. It's just, it would not be good for him. So
MBG. I didn't know.
That's not another Reforge, is he?
Oh, you talk about Reforge? Yeah, sorry. I get those two mixed up.
I know what you mean. Same shit, different toilet again.
Exactly. See? You see how bad I am? I'm nasty.
Darker streamers with a $5 super chat. I do not like the narrative of people saying put it on PlayStation also, and neither do I. The narrative would shift to, well, PlayStation has these consoles, no need to give it an Xbox. Get an Xbox. Yeah, absolutely correct. I'm with you 100% of the way. Rambling entertained with a $2 super chat. Put Redfall on PlayStation. Remove it from my PC.
So stupid.
I'm with you. I'm with you there as well.
See, the problem is Redfall came out, but did factions come out? Hello.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure if that's a good thing as well.
Shout out to commitment. Listen. Show up.
Release some shit. Here is
well, show up. I don't care what you look like. Show up. Don't leave me outside standing there waiting. Nah.
I'm 50-50 on that. But
okay. Popeye's
I think it did more damage than it did good. Web Dave, thank you for the $2 super chat. Doom, QE, and King are amazing guests. Ace and GAAS are amazing guests as well. I've read that wrong. Thank you, Web Dave. Shout out to you, Web Dave. He's such a nice guy. RC Polygons, thank you for the $10 super chat. I would like for Xbox to come up to number 2 at least. If Xbox becomes number 1, they can get lazy and too relaxed. I like what you think. Like the Xbox One gen. If Xbox comes and stays number 2, it keeps the pressure on Xbox. See, that the idea of competition, like, this is the thing. If you remove them from the hardware race, anyway, now they're going to be removed. Anyway, I'm going to go on a tangent. No one cares. M's Odyssey with a $5 super chat. Wow, this podcast is not based on reality. Do you guys talk to game devs and companies? Yes. PlayStation.
Boy, if you don't look at my resume and my record, what are you talking about? It's not based in reality. Actually, the conversations that I could have, I can't have because I don't want to talk about stuff that I do know. But you're not based in reality because you keep worrying about console sales and you buy one console.
Oh, shit. He didn't complete it. He goes, PlayStation's game division makes triple what Microsoft's game division makes.
And we dropped the same car, dummy.
Oh, shit.
I feel like I'm just here for reactionary purposes. David.
I'm sorry. It's just that they trigger me. They trigger me with the ignorant responses.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to give them. Hey, this is a democracy. Let them say
give the people what they want, King. Give them what
they want. Blade. They want Blade.
They ain't getting it.
That part.
Lamingo Douglas, bro, really calling King delusional. Get out of here, little raisin brain. Raisin brain? What the fuck is that? Jax82 with the $5 super chat. Xbox has a roadmap of what's coming. PlayStation's plan is for you to pay more money for remakes, remasters, and charge you $70 for Returnal still. Is $70 still $70?
Yeah, it is.
Not Nintendo. Really?
Yeah.
From the digital store? That's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. I doubt it. Really?
They want their money back. They paid for that company, Housemarque. They want their money back.
They paid by that loan.
They ain't got no money. They want their money back.
Oh, man. Huggy Chatty. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Shout out, Huggy. All this talk about which platform is the largest, that's technically Android, but Google pulled out of gaming. That makes Windows with Xbox the largest platform. Next is Apple, then Nintendo. He's looking... My phone just dropped. He's looking beyond our idea of platforms and consoles. Percy Pringles with a $5 super chat. Nintendo's king when it comes to first party. I think that none of one would dispute that.
That's a fact.
They had a phenomenal year. Uncle Phil and Jimbo are still trying to figure things out, it seems. Compared to Nintendo, perhaps.
This is true.
Yeah, but Nintendo's in a whole different ballgame. Huggy, again, with ABK, Xbox's revenue will be higher than PlayStation's. Profit was already higher than PlayStation. ABK makes it even higher, possibly beating Nintendo's profits. I am not the numbers guy, so I will defer to your judgment while not co-signing it, because everyone marks me on socials because you're not on socials. They come at me for things you say. Chris with the £2 super chat. Get MBG on here dressed like Snake. Yeah, that would be just a comedy show. But no, shout out to MBG. Who's blocked me? So this week we had a Blade concept art was revealed, and a lot of conversations about what it means to be a good Blade game. So some people have a preconceived notion of a Blade game. So a lot of people are saying, look, it needs to be more realistic, it needs to be bloody and gritty. And the concept art that they revealed showed a very stylized look for the game. And to be honest, normally I would have been on with Blade, because with Blade, I think Blade 2, I think the club scene, I think just well, first I think Wesley Snipes, then I think the club scene, and then I think everything else. So Blade is obviously, you're the Marvel guy, man. You would know more about the comic book, the legacy of Blade. I don't know that. For me, Blade is the coolest Marvel. Well, who's the cool? Yeah, he probably is the coolest Marvel character. But I had this idea of like, well, stick to that. But the concept art actually looks really good. And a lot of people are conflating Arcane Austin with Arcane Lyon, who are working on it. And the game is set in France as well, I think in Paris. So, there's this conversation about, and I think it's unfair that it's spilled out to Arcane Lyon, because their Dishonored games, whether you're a fan of them or not, have been critically well received. So having looked at that, and I don't know if you're a fan of these Doom or not, have you played Arcane Lyon's games? Have you played Dishonored? And what is your take on Blade's concept art and what your expectations for the game?
Look, I think I actually really like this art style. I think it's really going to lend really well to the stealth kind of gameplay that I think is really important for Blade. We're playing a vampire after all. It's I think probably people wanted a more realistic style. They wanted, really real blood. And I get that, you're all out there for blood. You guys are thirsty. We get it. But
especially with Blade, yeah.
Especially definitely. With Blade. No, and you know what? I think it's actually going to be a really beautiful game. And I think honestly, I can't imagine a more better studio for this game. It looks spectacular, and I'm actually really looking forward to it.
The Coalition could be. There are loads of studios that could do Blade really well. The Coalition with Gears doing Blade could be really cool. I'm not saying Arcane Lyon are bad. I'm just saying could be.
Why didn't they?
Why didn't they what?
Why didn't Coalition do it then?
Oh, well, they're working on Gears. Are
they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Blade has a certain style, but Arcane Lyon doing it, and from the CGI trailer that came out, it's quite. People think it's a weird mix, but ultimately, I think the fact that they revealed more concept art for this than the faction since it's revealed in 2019. It's like 3 times more concept art, and it also looks visually distinctive. I think I'm genuinely excited. Jada was like, "GAAS, you're not happy, you're disappointed," because I said, even though I'd like it to be a little bit realistic, I like this look. But I think it's going. It might be far away, and we're talking about this for ages, and this is the problem. King, when we first talked about Redfall, you said you don't care about CGI. Don't care for CGI,
nope.
And you don't care for that. And we've had CGI and we have had concept art, but are you generally excited about this game? As a Marvel fan, you're the biggest Marvel fan that I know of. What do you think about this?
Well, from a Marvel standpoint, when we look at comic books, there's different artists that takes over comic books at all times.
Mm-hmm.
The first concept art of Blade, if y'all saw it in the beginning, he didn't look like that. He had on a brown leather jacket. It's not what everybody thinks. Everybody's reference point is Wesley Snipes. That's not my reference point for Blade.
It's not. Okay.
Not at all. And everybody's screaming, Wesley needs to be attached to this in some form or fashion. No, he doesn't. He does not need to be anywhere near the character at all, because Wesley Snipes is not Blade. He's an actor who played a character. We have to learn how to separate the two. The same way, Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, is not the Black Panther. He's an actor who played the Black Panther, and the Black Panther should not be sunset because an actor passed away. That's my opinion of it,
okay.
Because, I come from the comic books. Now, The characters are eternal. Christopher Reeves passed away. We still have Superman. Yes, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the process. You have to look at these things. Art style. I don't know. Art can change from here to there. But what they do know is that Arcane does stylized stuff, and they're thinking of Deathloop. They're thinking of these games, and they're saying, is it going to go in this cartoony nature? Let the game present itself. This game is 5 to 6 years away. We're really stuck on this game, and the only reason why we are stuck on this game is PlayStation fan base wants to know if it's coming to that platform, or if it was announced that it was coming to the everything, then the conversation around the title would be, oh, it looks great. I can't wait to play it. But the fact of the matter is there's doubt. Oh, I don't like how it is. Let me hate on it now, just in case.
There's a lot of haters there.
Right. I want to see the game when it comes out, when it releases. If it's in a cartoon nature, it was drawn as a cartoon. It came from a comic book. It wasn't a real life depiction of something that manifested from that standpoint. It manifested in comic books. Let it be drawn as such, right? As much as y'all want to talk about Spider-Man is a cartoon as well. It's just drawn in an art style that looks eye-pleasing. I just want the game to be visually pleasing. Right? I want it to run 60 frames per second. I want whatever it is, for it to move good. I want it to play good. I want the sound to be good. So we've played games that had that cartoony nature that doesn't have to be mature. Everything doesn't have to be mature. We got Grand Theft Auto for that. Let us be kids. Let us be kids. So
with Blade, though, as a Marvel fan, I'm deferring to your judgment on and your knowledge on Blade, I think it has to be violent. I'm not saying it
doesn't have to be. Okay, there's two things that there's a misnomer that's wrong. He's a vampire hunter, right? Yeah. So of course he's going to kill vampires. He's going to be killing non-humans.
Yeah.
Right, so that's where Disney gets away with the fact that they can produce violence against enemies. These enemies is going to be, like Redfall enemies, like the vampires and stuff like that in Redfall, where you can do violence against them. Right. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be realistic in that sense. You're blowing off limbs, you're doing stuff like that. It doesn't have to be. But if they do go in that nature, could you imagine? It looks as realistic as possible. It looks as realistic as Hellblade, but the gameplay is crap.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right? I'm not saying that. I'm not that one of those like visuals over every. Like it has to be realistic graphics.
I
but look at Wolverine.
That, like this is what GAAS has said is exactly what you already alluded to, King, because he's made that association that Blade needs to be violent. And that's based purely on the films that came out in the 80s or 90s, whenever they were, the Wesley Snipes film. Yeah. So Blade has to be violent because Wesley Snipes cut people to pieces. We've seen it, and that's Blade. There's obviously a Netflix series coming in the interim, which I think will redefine a lot of people's understanding of who Blade is as a character. But you know Blade. Like, who is Blade as a character? What makes this an interesting game that we should look forward to besides films from our childhood?
They did have a TV show before that was Sticky Fingers played Blade, and people don't remember that. They just focused on the movies with Wesley Snipes. There's a ton of shows that you can go check it out and see who the character truly is and what it's about. It's some of the times it's gonna mess people up. Play Midnight Suns to see the character, because I think they do a good depiction of Blade in Midnight Suns.
You didn't like that depiction, did you, Asa, of Blade?
I've only played the 2-hour trial on the PlayStation Plus, and Blade was really annoying in the opening 2 hours. But I'd need to go further to see how he progresses.
Yes. No, and that's the part. You're right. He feels very 80-ish, like with his dialogue. He feels like he's stuck in the past, and he should, because he's a day walker, and whenever he was turned, he's stuck in that era. So a lot of his monologue should be old monologue. Yeah, I don't really think these guys understand exactly what they're hoping for to be when they get the character.
Okay, this is why I do know mine's very limited. For me, my childhood was Wesley Snipes, and I have key moments in there. But when I looked at this, I was immediately actually, I was like, oh, this is actually really nice. Now I would actually be and I'm genuinely, when I say that, I'd be a bit disappointed if they went overly realistic. Like we saw Wolverine. Apparently, we had leaked screenshots of Wolverine now that came out this week, and
you're gonna have more of it if they don't pay that $2 million.
Well, you're a Marvel fan. Like Wolverine, I've been reading the comics now. Like, I'm not going to go into those as well. But if they're legit, really badly pixelated screenshots of Wolverine have come out.
I got cleaner ones, but go ahead.
You got what?
I got cleaner ones, but go ahead.
Have you? Oh shit! Oh shit! There were some that I don't know how verified they are or not.
Right.
But that didn't it tonally. It looked okay. It looked really early on, but it wasn't stylized. It felt like it was The Last of Us mixed with God of War mixed with something like that, kind of very early on. So I'm not casting judgments on that, but that made me realize, well, okay, is this going to be a very similar kind of experience to Sony's template? It's going to be more linear, which is good. I think that Wolverine needs to be linear and be more violent, but it's like, if you're going to pick one, Wolverine or Blade, which one would you pick? Try and take the Xbox out of it. Be legit with me.
Well, I like Wolverine as a character.
So you like Wolverine more than Blade?
I like Wolverine. Hell yeah! Like I just if you look at my KOS, I just put up a statues with Wolverine versus Sabretooth. Wolverine as a character has more layers that you can delve into. That you can work with his trauma. You can work with the process of them bonding the antimatium to his skin. You can work with the process of him being feral and working against his human nature and his animalistic nature. There's a lot more to the character for me to delve into, but I'm invested more into that character because of who he's attached to. He's attached to Incredible Hulk, and I'm a huge Incredible Hulk fan. So with
Incredible Hulk,
yeah, because that's where he debuted. He debuted in the Incredible Hulk comic books, and he was sent to capture the Hulk. But anyway,
oh wow,
yeah. So that Wolverine character himself is a more interesting character to myself. I don't think you're going to get the game that you think you're going to get from Disney Marvel, because the last Wolverine game was very bloody and very good. Excuse me.
What was it called?
I think Wolverine Unleashed or something. I don't know. I remember he was climbing up walls and stuff. I had the game. It was like the Deadpool game. I don't think that this game is going to be what people think. I think he's going to be fighting robots, stuff that don't bleed, because of Disney's mandate against violence, right? So I walk into that game with a lot of trepidation in how they're going to deliver the story, and if Neil Druckmann is going to have influence in pushing the game to be violent, the reason why I say Neil Druckmann, because he has a lot of weight over at Sony, so he can go over there and say, listen, no, you need to have this visceral death, you need to have these death scenes, because The Last of Us 2 push the violence level to another level when it came to video game depiction of violence. I don't think Marvel wants to attach itself, and I think the only person that you could put in that room to have that conversation to make sure that happens is Neil, so he can tell them this is how the story should go, and this character is steeped in violence, and violence needs to be shown. The expectations of the crowd and the fan base is a violent game, and it needs to be shown. So I think you need somebody that can convey that story, because we got that stuff with the TV show, and that was because Neil was there. A lot of stuff was pushed, and I think he's the only voice in that building that can make sure that happens, because if not, then we're going to have what happened with Spider-Man. And if you looked at Spider-Man, there's not a lot of blood or anything and stuff like that going on.
Some people did say when they said they was in the same universe as Spider-Man, I was immediately off the bat like, "What? That's really bad." Like, but they're saying, look, you know, there are violent bits with what's his name, Venom,
Craven.
and I with Venom, and I was like, "That's not
really
violent."
It wasn't violent.
That was violent. That's not what I constitute violent. But
even when he did something to Craven, and
he bite heads off.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but when he did something to it, they didn't really show. You understand? It was like a quick takeaway. You can't have that with Wolverine. It has to be visceral because he has this berserker rage that has to be shown. So,
it's about the nature of his like abilities. And if you watch the movie Logan, that was beautiful. One of the best comic movies I've seen.
I don't think they go down that path. I really don't think so.
I hope they do. But yeah, that was my concern thematically about what they're going to do. I feel like Blade has a little bit more. They're similar. They have to be mature, but you're saying it doesn't, and I don't know that. So that's quite interesting.
So just for clarity though, because Insomniac have said, like, they said that it's R-rated, which is alluding to that. Like, you'd think that alludes to violence, but who knows? Maybe they got Atomic Heart sexy robots going on. But
it could be nudity, right? It could be, you know, nudity to the point.
Blood.
I hope
there is.
So.
I really want it to. I don't know. I don't have any set expectations.
Was rated R, so it's like
it's got to be. If it's rated R, then it's going to be. And I have no set expectations for this game other than I want it to be violent because of just the nature of Wolverine. Yeah, right. And I think it will be. But I am more excited for Blade than Wolverine. For me personally, but
I'm more excited for Wolverine than Blade because I get Wolverine first. Unless they pull a factions.
Ain't
that right, J-Dub? Didn't you say that Starfield or factions will come out before Halo Infinite? Or Starfield coming out, J-Dub? Remember you said that? Hey, J-Dub.
I know you're
watching, Jay.
Shout out to Jay, man. Papa Hayes 4564. Thank you for the $20 super chat. People need to understand that there are some people who like digital and some who like physical copies, or those who don't care to own, they just want to play the game. If you subscribe to a service, you buy or you stream it. Most people care about digital, man. Like, we've seen, like, apparently 90% of like PlayStation purchases are all digital. That's ridiculous. I was with Fonzo and you were saying that. I couldn't believe that. So, yeah, fine, but you may be looking at an archaic medium in the future, where PlayStation doesn't exist.
You see, Best Buy and Walmart and everybody are scaling back their physicals when it came to video games. The mandate this for the 2024, by September, you probably won't be able to go inside a store and purchase physical copies of games. You'll be going in and getting digital cards for those games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kind of sad as well at the same time.
No, it's sad for those people that like that stuff.
Yeah, I do feel for them. It's not me, but there's childhood association with going into seeing those boxes and those game stores, which are dead here pretty much anyway. Danny Passion Official, shout out to you, man. He goes, I'm happy with Arcane's Netflix TV show art style. I haven't seen it. I don't know what that is about. Byron Lynch, sorry, because Deadpool is violent. Blade can be as well. I'm fully expecting Blade to be violent as well. But let's see. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what is he talking about? Deadpool is violent. Is he talking about Deadpool in the movies? Because Deadpool in the movies hasn't released from Disney yet, and there's a lot of hurdles because of that, and it had to do a lot of
Disney
reshoots.
Really anti-violence now? I don't know.
Well, Disney is made their whole fan base is cultivated on children.
Okay. Oh,
if you
Disney,
look at, they own Hulu, and the reason why they put some of the weird stuff over there on Hulu because so they can disassociate themselves with the weird stuff.
Yeah.
And I really hope it doesn't get painted with the Disney brush, honestly, because that would honestly be so sad. I really feel like Wolverine needs to be what we want it to be. It needs to be gritty. It needs to be bloody. It needs to be a rampage of a game. And it would absolutely be incredibly disappointing if they don't get this out of the gate, either because they can't get it out or they do and it's kind of like, meh, this is just like a modded version of some other game that I played, you know?
Yeah. Disney's not got positive associations these days. Splendor first with a $2 super chat. GAAS King, best friend Asa, Doomy, Wagwan family. Wagwan.
Wagwan, son.
Wagwan, bro. And Wagwan to frickin' Blind Right. Welcome. Where have you been? Shout out to him giving 5 memberships to Magnum Westwood, Mr. Xbot, Primo Drake, Doria Gray, Tamales, and Tamales. Shout out to you. Thank you, man. And thank you for gifting and enhancing the Game On Daily family. So, this is going to be a bitter topic for me, but I don't shy away from eating the crow. GT versus Forza. There was the visuals debate that was happening. Digital Foundry, for whatever reason, stalled out their comparison for quite some time. We were talking about it, I think, last week. I wasn't sure when. And Asa, you were expecting Forza to get a few more wins than you were just guessing there at the time. But you think Forza would fare well? I don't know if you've seen Digital Foundry's thing. And I generally think GT kind of...
So what I said last week wasn't so much that I thought that Forza would win, because it was fairly clear already in the run-up that they were going to award that to Gran Turismo. Yeah. What I said was that I don't think they are like fanboying it. I don't think the video is going to be one-sided, and I don't think they're going to be really harsh against Forza. I think it's going to get a fair amount of flowers as well, and they're going to pick up on the things that it does well. The video that he's done is like over an hour long, and I know I've had an attempt at like this kind of video in the past, and I know how much time that takes, so massive shout out to him for the amount of effort they put into that. That's a hell of an undertaking for one video, but I haven't had an hour to spare to actually like watch it myself yet, so I'm relying on you to feedback on what was said. Well,
yeah, I mean, generally, I think I was actually quite surprised by the disparity in the quality in a lot of things, the car models, and Polyphony's attention to detail was really good on some things, and when Xbox and 1010s was some poor elements. They even the sign, they had a typo that carried forward from the previous games, and we were given the impression that it was built from the ground up. And it's like, I'm a bit salty and disappointed in Turn 10 in just that. Like, I get the adversarial thing, but the thing that made me highlighted to me was Turn 10, we've given them the flowers quite strongly and gave them a lot of benefit of the doubt because they deserved it. But this kind of thing, this comparison kind of made me appreciate Polyphony more and Turn 10 less. Doom, I don't know if you're into the whole console warring tech thing. Did you see this John Lineman's breakdown and comparison between GT and Forza?
Yeah, I did. And you know what? There was a lot of very, very good points. Gran Turismo it looks fantastic, and it has been since the day it came out. However, when I've played both of these games, the feeling that I had when I entered Forza Motorsport versus when I entered Gran Turismo was completely different. And I feel like the gameplay experience overall trumps all these nitty-gritty. Are the signs correct? How much detail of the headlight can I see? I don't care about that. The fact of the matter is, if the game feels too like it's got something shoved up its butt, which I felt like Gran Turismo did, it felt way too posh, way too some people are into that. That's fine. I'm a big fan of more Forza Horizon series, and it has been difficult for me to enter the sim racing space. But you know what? Forza Motorsport did it better. Honestly, there are pros and cons. It depends what you value as a gamer. Yeah. I agree. This video would have taken so long to make. So, shout out to Digital Foundry for getting that out and putting that out for people, and kind of like putting, I suppose, like some of the arguments to rest, like what looks better, what is actually better. But yeah, overall, number one, Forza Motorsport is on Game Pass. So, tick. People at least going to play it and at least give it a go. And if they can get people in, they can get the more casual gamers in or whatever, because they far outweigh any of this. What we see is like the top 5%, probably less, probably like 1%. So I think overall,
I mean, the Game Pass, you say it's on Game Pass, but I think Forza's numbers of Forza Motorsports numbers aren't that high. I've seen that there's a drop off in player numbers there, despite that GT being a full-priced cross-gen game has much higher player numbers, and it's doing quite well. And the fact that it's a cross-gen game, and it, in my opinion, decisively beat out Forza, which didn't even live up to the visual quality they put out for the Developer Direct, which you saw in Jan of this year. That is a mark against 1010. I much prefer the way Forza Motorsport plays over the GT, though. I played GT and I felt it was sterile. It was just dead. But I'm
no soul.
Apart from
it's
VR.
It's a pretty.
I wouldn't even say it's pretty though. But that's what shocks me. I'm not saying this just to be like, because I'm an Xbox guy. I don't think Gran Turismo's pretty, but in VR it's immersive, and I said that before, and I think it's beautiful. But I think it's a shame for me, as like I stand for 1010 because I believed in the studio, even though I favored the Horizon series after for a while. I just feel like it's a shame because they're committed to Forza with this model. It's going to get fixed over a period of time. But ultimately, GT, even though I prefer Forza's gameplay feeling more, has reclaimed the racing crown from Forza. What do you think about that?
Racing sim crown.
The what, sorry? The racing sim crown. The sim racing crown. Which has more prestige, generally. But more players play the arcade, and Horizon eclipses a lot of that. I agree. But, you have to be fair. I don't know if you're a big racing fan, Dave. David, sounds weird saying David without King.
I know, right?
King. Are you a big racing fan? And what did you think of this? Did you see this? And what's your take on Turn 10 handing the torch back to Polyphony, if they have? In your opinion?
All right, I got to start this off with a caveat. Especially for the one clown there that doesn't think that I do research or whatever. I actually was wined and dined by Turn 10. So I got to tell you that my thought process with this is biased.
I love that.
Straight off the rip. All right. And I always tell people that when Turn 10 shows up, that's when the generation starts, because it's not before then does the generation start. Now, John Lindemann, my hat's off to you, sir. I sat there and watched that whole video, and I went in with a biasness. Of course I did. I always watch everything that Digital Foundry does, because I think they try to save Kong at every chance they could possibly get. and I don't believe that video would have ever been made if it wasn't going to put Gran Turismo in a favorable light.
Oh shit! You mean Forza in a favorable light?
No, Gran Turismo.
No, you're saying you wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think that video would have been made if it wasn't going to put Gran Turismo in a...
They wouldn't have bothered.
Right. So, okay. So now knowing this, that there was choices that was made on the Forza side that they changed from Forza 7, because if you looked at Forza 7, there was baked in lighting. They chose HDR lighting, and it doesn't play well on certain televisions, and it doesn't play well in certain shots. Gran Turismo doesn't use that. They actually use the baked in lighting opposed to the HDR lighting. It's cool. Is a choice. Does Gran Turismo look in certain aspects cleaner than Forza? Yes, of course. But the problem is, as a sim game, and I said it to them when I was there. I gotta say this one thing, because I told them when I was playing the game, when I was on the playback, I noticed the tire spin. And shout out to Digital Foundry for explaining why it looked like that, because I brought it up to him. I said, that doesn't look right. Y'all need to fix that.
Yeah.
I didn't like how that looked. And it's jarring to the eyes, right? When you see it.
Yeah, when I was
Polyphony does something that's completely different and is more natural, and it doesn't do that tire spin with the texture how it does. It looks way better. Is it a better game? That is left up to your taste. When I play Gran Turismo, like I said, it feels sterile to me. I thought Forza feels a little bit more lively in certain aspects, but that could be my biasness creeping in. But at the end of the day, you have two sim games that are being recognized. Now, I think that it would reach a greater audience if it was inside their service for free. And and they wouldn't monetize it the way that they did, because in the beginning it was harsh monetization in the way that you were unlocking cars, unlocking aspects to your vehicle. Forza is a game of service. And it was thought of that conceptually wise, because we have the interview up. You can go check it out. Cognito and myself was there with Maddie Plays and everybody. We all got a chance to go there. Shout out to Boom XL. He also was at a different time. He went there and he spoke to them. This is a game of service. This is not your normal sim game. So over a period of time, the game will grow, change, and be different, and stuff will be added, taken, and expounded upon. That's not the same thought process when it goes to Gran Turismo. Yeah. Gran Turismo is thought of as this game. They will have DLC that will drop. They will have other stuff in it, and it will live that way until they get to the next Gran Turismo. This Forza game will probably be the last Forza game, and they will continue to build upon this Forza game, all right, until it gets to the point where graphics or something reaches a level where you must change the engine and go to a new engine. So I think the concept wise between both games is too different. I believe the Gran Turismo is more of a complete game, whereas the Forza is still in its infancy and is going to be grown over a period of time. That's what John
Lindemann said. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Like he said, he said it in a negative light, which I understand. He says it's incomplete. Forza's incomplete. And we know
anybody knows that,
but it's not something I'm a fan of. But I still don't gel with GT. I respect it for the VR though, and I feel like if I'll play more of that, that's where it's very, very immersive.
That VR makes it. See, okay, that's my, and I don't know if you agree with me, Asa. That's my biggest problem with Sony. If VR is an extension of your console and you make this $600 thing that rivals the price of your console and you need your console to have it, then why aren't all your top IPs using it? Every IP, that should be a mandate. Every IP that comes out the door uses VR in some way, because it's spectacular when you put Gran Turismo in VR. When you look around the cockpit and you look at your mirrors and you're driving, it's spectacular, right? It's different. But this is the added value that it gives to the consumer that purchased your VR, that went into your ecosystem, that it knows that you put your top IP there and it knows it's going to be around for a while. That's what I wanted to see more of. And that's what puts it over Forza, because Forza doesn't have any VR at all.
Yeah. Holy shit! Sorry, Blind Riot, man. I need to get my sounds. Has gifted 20 more freaking memberships, bro. Shout out to this guy. What a G. I need to send you the hat, by the way. But damn, man, that's crazy. Shout out to him. He's gifted it. Let me just read it out, because that's a long one. He's gifted Baz Crypt Keeper, a random guy. Remy is now one. Alex SS, Epic Treasure is spamming emotes. Sean Harris, Abdul, A2, X Abbott. Shout out to, good to see you, man. Nubalax and Soren Grant. Thank you, man. That's really nice. Let's smoke this pony, Asa. I don't know what that means or what you two been smoking, but Asa, I think you talked about the exact same thing King was being frustrated about.
You're absolutely right in that. So I never would speak in quite that absolute. I don't think it should be every game that they're releasing in every IP, but it should be the majority. Sony should be, and they've developed that thing and designed it to be able to play their pancake games in VR. The hardware spec is like specifically capable, as we've seen in Capcom's efforts and as we've seen in Gran Turismo. So yeah, I look at Sony and like on the one hand, they've not shown us very much of their roadmap at all. On the other hand, when they do show us anything, most of it should be in VR if they're remotely serious about it. They shouldn't be leaving it to Capcom to carry that burden. So, agree with you. Yeah. True.
And I feel like PSVR 2 may be hurtling towards the same fate as PSVR 1, which is essentially not doing what it needed to in terms of Sony's own estimations and becoming a failure. I feel like and I know that Pony's going to come at me for that, but it feels like it's a wasted device. It's dead in the water until they do something with their first party. But if Sony are happy with it, and then okay, I guess I don't think they are. I just don't think they will be. I can't
go as far as you in calling it dead because there are games coming out. There are it's not short on games; it's short on big games from Sony. So Sony definitely have a responsibility. Yeah. They've built that device. They've sold it to people. They've got a responsibility to give them those reasons. But I wouldn't say the device is a complete disaster. There are things to do on it if you've got one. I don't want to totally piss on it because there's quite enough people pissing on it.
I'm not pissing on it. No. But I think they have to. I just don't see any intent behind that device. Yeah, they could surprise us because they haven't even shown their roadmap for their freaking console yet. So maybe,
that's the problem too. But Asa, let me ask you a question because I've always wanted to ask you this question ever since I got the PlayStation VR 2. If you were in charge of the store, because I don't know how to navigate the store properly.
Yeah.
If you was in charge of the store, how would you make the PlayStation VR 2 more visible and easier to navigate inside the store if you were in charge?
Well, there's a question because the second part to that question is, would I make it more easily to navigate? Because as I know very well, if you mention VR, like our numbers are probably just dropped by 200 because we've mentioned VR. So Sony would have to be very, very careful about putting that prominently up there on the PlayStation Store. It's actually got less prominent over time, I think. It used to be like somewhere on the first, like near the top of the page, and you need to scroll a little way to try and find the PSVR category right now. But stores are difficult.
At
the very least.
I'm sorry.
That's right. At the very least, if you've had one plugged into your device, you should get a different view of the store to someone that doesn't own the device, right? Like at the very least, if you've got a PSVR 2, it should be easy to find the games. Whether they should be pushing it to people that have expressed no interest might just upset people. I don't know.
Look, you know what? The PSVR 1, PSVR 2 aren't helping people who are visually impaired. And there are nearly 300 million people who are visually impaired. And you can play Forza Motorsport blind. That's it.
You can play Forza Motorsport? Sorry, what?
Yeah, you could. You could play it blind by listening to the car. Listening to the game.
Really? Oh, the accessibility features you talk about.
The accessibility is crazy.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. VR's primary purpose is definitely not to help the visually impaired. I don't quite understand that other point, but it is true.
Just saying.
I said I would not sell one to somebody that that doesn't have the usage of the eye sockets.
Blind Riot is given 35 memberships now. Shout out to him. We need to play a song. That's not what I played. My life is a mess. My life is a mess. That fucking didn't work. Shout out, I had a new song. Blind Riot, thank you so much for that, man. That's very generous of you. Shout out to everyone. The chat scrolled up, so I can't even see who got the membership as well. This final-ish topic, we'll talk about this. Nick Massey, you won the battle of GT versus Forza. I've said that publicly, you piece of shit. That's the one I really wanted to win as well. Like, I fell off Sims for a while, and I believed in Turn 10, and it kind of let me down. Me and Cole, we're pissed. Danny Passion Official, shout out to you with the $5 super chat. GAAS, you need to watch League of Legends Arcane show. It won VGA 2021.
Yeah, it's
Some of the people who worked on it. Bro, I watched it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't even play League of Legends. You have to watch it. Like, it's not what you think, people. Like, anime, hentai. It's different, bro. It's not hentai shit. It is amazing CGI, incredible quality, like Blizzard level CGI. And the story is amazing. It's really, really good. In fact, I might even rewatch it. Or I do, when's the season 2 coming out? Soon, though. So good. So
Can I
good.
really quickly, this isn't related. I just need to say, because I said that on the VR thing, so Turn 10 have this visually impaired, like, blind driving mode that I've not tried. It works on sound and things like that. Capcom have also done something similar with Street Fighter 6. There was a visually impaired competitor that I think won an esports, like, high-level esports contest without really being able to see the screen. And these things are freaking awesome. Like, I love that they're getting... the efforts are being made to really support letting more people play games. So I'm not speaking against it when I laugh at the VR comment. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I think that stuff's freaking awesome.
No, absolutely. I've got a guess.
Yes, they said Aces against blind people. No, that's not what he said. That is not what he said, bro.
It's good that they won that. We've got, I don't usually do this, but we've got Gamsley who's coming out. He's a proud disabled athlete, like in TKW, and he's coming onto the show in a couple of weeks, actually. So
amazing.
Looking forward to
we had him on. He's out of control.
He's out of control. That's perfect.
Yeah, you're gonna love him.
The way he reached out to me in DMs is like, "Yo, guys, I fucking love the sauce. Let me in, bro. I got no hands. Fuck shit people."
You're gonna have so much fun with him. Pause.
Pause. Parksy 1972. Shout out to you, man. He goes, "Can you get Pornhub on PSVR 2?" Asking for a friend.
Actually, you could.
You can. That's the only reason I'll buy it.
That's the first thing people do. Come on, we're dirty. Come on, stop playing.
The first thing I did when I got the Quest is that. I'll admit it, and I loved it. Shout out to you all. Former. This is the final topics. The former Sony exec has now joined Xbox.
Oh,
have you seen this?
Yeah, I made a video about her.
Oh, I need to see that because she was lasering. This must veteran. She's a veteran. Her name is Mina. Minacato.
Yeah,
Minacato. She's now Xbox's director of Japan partnerships. Quite a heavyweight in the space as well. And she's kind of pissed a lot of ponies off. She goes, Japanese publishers will definitely need us in expanding their business. It would be difficult to do that just with PlayStation. She's referring to Xbox. She's joined the team at Team Xbox. Xbox has an uphill battle in Japan, but what is this suggesting? I mean, is this just her posturing? Is this just a PR statement, Asa? Have you seen this?
I'm so glad you let me say. I told you months ago when this is not new. She joined Xbox months ago, and I told you this is significant in Japan. Like, if you ever want Japanese games on Xbox, she is going to be key to that. It sounds like, obviously, King, you just said you did a video. I'm assuming this was a couple of months ago as well, right? When it went down.
I just did it the other day, but
but
I know about it months ago. Yeah. Yeah.
You're right, yeah, because like she went there like a while ago. There's been some, I think it's presumably from your friend at Bloomberg that started spreading the comments that have been going around. She's very, very significant and key because she's a well-established player in the Japanese space, as in she's got all of those relationships, and relationships matter. So Xbox essentially hired her and I'm not saying that she's not got other qualities, but the relationships that she's already built are hugely valuable in Japan.
I did not know her. I did not know that. That's crazy.
Nobody knows her. Yep. You don't need to know her. You just need to see what her role was and go, oh yeah, that's important.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. She's big. She's a heavyweight based on that. But did you say that? I didn't remember you saying this, mentioning this. That's fucking crazy. Damn. So Xbox is taking Japan seriously. Xbox has done the comic book thing as well. They've gone fucking really double down on their first party IP. They're going to go third party. No, sorry. Can I just say Blind Riot has done another 10? I don't even want to say, man. It's fucking crazy, man. The guy is mental, man. It's like, thank you so much, man. Really generous. And for all the new members out there, welcome to you get access to nice emojis and shit. Well, the source emoji, which I don't even have because I'm not a member of my chat.
Oh my God.
Fucking hell. I was trying to put it on chat. Someone spam source in the chat. So Xbox is going to take Japan seriously. Finally. What does that mean, though? What is she going to do? Is it going to be third-party stuff? Or are we actually expecting any first-party stuff too? What would you like Xbox to do in Japan?
Look, I think Mina is very intelligent woman, and we love to see we love to see a powerful woman enter the Xbox ecosystem, because clearly, like, I've just been looking at her LinkedIn, and like she's been in roles that like I don't know, feel like aren't utilizing her connections in the industry. So I think she'll have a fantastic time under Microsoft. I would love to see some first party games come out of Japan for Xbox, but I think that is going to be extremely difficult. I was talking to someone at a South by Southwest in Sydney, and they have a small indie studio, and they have relationships with, it's sort of like Asia Pacific kind of network.
Oh, APAC kind of thing, yeah.
And one of the gentlemen was Japanese, and I said to him, like, what is it like to actually publish a game as an indie developer? Like, what about Xbox? What about, the kind of initiatives that they have in place for indie devs and Game Pass, all that kind of stuff? And he said it's so difficult. It is. And it's not seen as like prestigious, because obviously, PlayStation and Sony have such a foothold in the space. So I think before you can even begin to start thinking, what kind of stories, what kind of games will be coming out of Japan, it is going to be like, 5-10 years of just developing that really close relationship, that trusting relationship with Japan, to make them have a good foothold with them, and bringing someone.
It's a long-term play.
Oh, for sure, big long-term play. And honestly, I think it's a really great move. And I think, number one, she will feel like she's being utilized well. And I think that, it'll just create more and more strength for Xbox in Japan.
What the fuck? I don't even know what to say anymore. Are we
going nuts? Are we going nuts?
Fuck, Blind Riot, fuck. Almost everyone watching it now, shout out to 850 of you all there, smash the like button, and can you just say thank you to a fucking Blind Riot? Just gifted more fucking. So I'm just sorry to cut you off there, Doom, but it's fucking ADHD kicked off. He's so generous, man. That's really, I don't have lost count. But shout out to you.
I think people are too focused on, like, what does this mean for, like, making Japanese games, making Japanese Xbox games, and it's like, mate, we need the relationship before we can even begin.
No, that's so true. I didn't expect that. So when Asa actually hyped out, and based on the information you told us, and you that's really good. That this is Xbox not disappearing in 2027. It's Xbox really putting the foundational work in a region that's very tricky, which she even herself admitted. She says, we face a challenge, and that means there are still a lot of things we can and should change. But she was the vice president of business development and PlayStation for God knows, for 8 years. So yeah, she knows her shit. So she will have her network.
Yeah, she has. Yeah. Like all of her, so she was from 1999, research and development department. Then she was in the entertainment business department, broadband business department. Then she went into the senior director of business development. Mm-hmm. And then they moved her into vice president of mobile business. Okay. So that's her experience. And then she's also a director at Client Technology in Japan. So
wow,
I think I can't read this because it's in Japanese.
Fair enough. That's great. Xbox is taking the global outreach seriously. I think there's some regions, especially the Middle East, that they need to take seriously, because a lot of people in Asia and Middle East and Southeast Asia also say, hey man, like, they don't make an effort here. Even in the UK, in terms of marketing, people are saying, well, they don't do enough. So Microsoft is obviously taking things seriously. Let's see how
because like it's not just about doing well in Japan. It's one of the biggest criticisms of Xbox is always that they don't have Japanese games so much as Sony and Nintendo do. Yeah. So it's addressing that criticism globally, not just for people in Japan who obviously do like Japanese games as well. But
yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you think this is a way of trying to do that.
Just heard from Doom QT. That's like 20 years of relationship building. So they didn't just get her; they got all of those relationships.
Yep.
Oh wow. Yep.
Localization is 90% of the hard work. So
yeah, that's crazy. That's really good.
And
they
were probably like, how much do you want, Mina? How much do you want?
Yeah, she's probably getting paid really well. Let's be real. But that's kind of talent you don't get. And she's been at PlayStation. I'm sure there's some secrets divulged as well.
We love it.
That's a bit tough for them. Shout out to Sofa King, who's now a member as well. Welcome, bro. And fucking Blind Riot has done another fucking 10 membership. This is a record. I've not seen.
That's what's up.
Yeah, show rambling. Welcome to the Console Master Race, Christopher Roke and Talos, everyone. Shout out to you guys, man. Phase 23 Brooklyn New York goes, Asa, thoughts on the leaked PS5 Pro specs? What do you think?
Wait, I'm responding to Baz. He said that we're going to be eating well this Christmas. I just had to clarify, like, neither of us have taken a penny personally from any of it. That's not the situation.
In the 3 years we've done this.
Just for clarity.
We've never made money from this, by the way, as it personally. You know that.
No, we're not eating at all at Christmas.
We're well funded,
Yeah. Not one. Never hit my account. I don't even know how to do that. I don't even know how to transfer the money today. It just gets swallowed up in costs. But thank you for keeping the lights on.
Yeah, it's massively appreciated. It really, really genuinely helps. The PlayStation Pro specs that are going around, like I say, if anything that you read, if it aligns with what Tom Henderson said in the first place, then believe it. If it deviates from that, then it's bullshit. For sure. And there's some gaps in Tom, so some of the stuff does like complement it. Some of it you can say, yeah, that fits what we already know, and it does make sense. So there are things that you can see. It's not a massive jump over the specs that are in the Xbox Series X. It's a tiny bit bigger and a tiny bit faster. So it's not a massive jump. The interesting rumor is the one that it's got an AI upscaling chip, so something akin to DLSS. If that is true, then that will be kind of substantial for the people that pixel peep and play on a 4K screen and care whether their lines are smooth and everything's as detailed as it can be. I'm a bit interested in it. I think the specs are believable, but it's not a huge jump.
That's exactly what I was talking about when I was telling people about the next Xbox, that it will have AI inside. It will have a dedicated chip for that. So,
I mean, the leaked stuff also suggested mixing it with cloud. I would love Xbox to mix. I think AI is in there.
It sounds like they're talking about the next Xbox, right? Because what cloud does PlayStation talk about? And really, now y'all believe in cloud? Really? Oh, you guys. I love you guys.
Faces loves you for that comment. No, but okay, so that's interesting to know. If they have that AI chip for DLSS upscaling, that'd be a big boon for it. But, you know, Microsoft, a lot of people are like, oh, Gaz, you're just spreading this. I wouldn't just spread it, but I think it's Xbox will undercut PlayStation by going early with the next box. But what happens is then PlayStation will come back 2 years later with something significantly more powerful. So there's a pros and cons there. Or PlayStation will die, like King says, and it'll be a USB stick. One of those.
It won't even be a USB stick. It'll be a whole app right here in your phone. App.
Maybe that's what the future's going. But ultimately, I think the gaming industry it's an exciting place. I just hope Phil Spencer, if anyone at Microsoft listening to it, don't fucking dare put any first-party Xbox games other than COD on PlayStation. And shout out to Blind Riot, who was just gifted another fucking 10 more memberships. Shout out, we the boys.
It's hot in here. My goodness me. Lovely. Love to see it.
Fucking hell. Shout out to Blind Riot, man. But it needs some alerts or something. There needs to be like electricity and shit flying on the screen every time he does it. That's fucking insane. It's been an incredible show, though, man. And thank you, everyone in chat. If you enjoyed the chat, Ponybot or whatever, Ponybot, hit that like button. It has been such a fun show.
Addict says he needs help.
Addict.
And you never gave me a chance to talk about Mina.
He did? Oh, no, well, sorry.
No.
Talk about Mina. Well, you said it. You said she's like she's beast.
No. See, the whole process is everybody don't really know exactly what it means. She's the plug.
Mina the plug?
She's the plug.
Who has a plug?
What kind of plug are you thinking of? Pause.
You know what plug I'm talking about. She's the plug. Like, all right, so I'm gonna give you a street terms, all right, for a lot of people that don't understand street terms. You go your whole life looking for a plug, then you finally come across the plug. Microsoft has been trying to get her over at Microsoft for years. They keep sending offers. So she took the offer now. I don't know why she took the offer now, but she took the offer now. She's going to be working hand in hand with Sarah Bond. What you saw with Sarah Bond's inroads in Japan, though, that's because she's with the plug. All right, so in order to get into certain places, you got to know certain people. She's the person to know.
King, I hate to interrupt you, but this is just the power of women.
Okay. Oh, this is cool.
No, it is. We're in with each other. We're talking. We're going to lunch. We're getting our nails done.
No, I don't think nails is being done here. What I do know is they're sharpening their nails, but that's about it because they're going for the jugular, right? And there's a big question in where those games from Sega is going to land. We all know that Sarah Bond was having conversations with Sega. I don't ever think that they're going to purchase Sega. I think they're going to do a partnership with Sega, right? But the conversations, when you saw Phil on stage with Square, that was inroads in Japan. This all stuff really started happening after the plug is over at Microsoft. These conversations can be had now. I do believe that you'll start to see a friendlier outlook when it comes to companies that traditionally just deal with Sony.
Yeah.
Deal with Microsoft. And it's directly because of her influence that she does have in the region. Now, would Microsoft open up a studio for young and upcoming developers to get the grassroots talent while they're growing? This is something to think about, Microsoft. I hope you're listening. I want royalties, 10% on it for everything.
Long term.
Yes, long term. Nothing Microsoft is ever doing is short term.
Yeah.
Right. There's no short term fixes. Short term fixes is you run out of overspend for Bungie and you destroy your company. Long term fixes is you get ABK and you have the population wonder if games is going to go into that console. But long term deals. Microsoft is in it for the long haul. I think you get Japan by playing the long haul, but she's more integral than you thought. But the bigger problem is if you look over at Sony, a lot of these execs that have been there decades are leaving in droves. And this is one that went over to Microsoft. We don't know if Amy's going to come over. We don't know a lot of that stuff. But
Amy coming over would be fucking insane.
And you put her in charge of quality control over at Microsoft.
Oh my God, that would
Studios.
be insane.
That
can you imagine that Twitter would just get fucking
right.
fire?
That's how you build up the female version of the Super Friends. But I do believe that a lot of people don't know who she is, but when it's all said and done, you're going to remember her name because she is more integral than people really think. She's the plug. She gets you in, and that's definitely worth something.
Mina the plug.
Yeah, she's the plug. She's the plug.
The Japan plug is a hard one, and for them to get that, and she's former PlayStation, which is insane. So there's going to be information shared there. That
Rolodex is nuts. Her black book is crazy.
I'm surprised that she's not even bound by any restrictive covenants that allowed her to move there, because that is fucking insane.
From what I heard,
it was a thing, so it probably wasn't really in a contract.
From what I heard from David Jaffe, they didn't have contracts back then.
Oh, so she's like lingering on for
she's from decades.
Yeah,
that happens as well. Yeah, because they don't have employment contracts that were that well realized, and the landscape is very different now, much
Completely
more regulated. And what the fuck? Again, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. Shit, man. Shit. Blind Riot. What the fuck? That's insane. I want to see all green. Fucking keep doing it, bro. I'm not gonna fucking stop you, bro. That is insane. Fucking hell. He's got that Bitcoin money when it was actually up, and I lost all that money. Shout out to Blind Riot, man. Yeah, it's a positive thing for Xbox. There are going to be challenges as well to address. She also says that it's going to be nice to see some competition in this space. King, apparently, Xbox is going to go away by 2027.
Yeah, they're going to go away to a new console.
Yeah, when that happens, it's going to be I've got the receipts for days. The only thing I will say is, Xbox, hold on to your first party. But thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Fuck was that? Thank you so much, everyone in chat. That's a fucking Supra single turbo just blasted through my house. Yeah, sorry, it's ADHD podcast. Thank you, everyone, for especially Blind. What the fuck? What the fuck?
You got like 200 new subs.
I know. This show is sponsored by Blind Riot. I think he actually now owns a share in GameOnDaily as a result of what the fuck.
Basically.
We've got more. I just see members now in the chat. It's fucking insane.
It's dope when you see all green. It's dope.
I know, it's mad, man. This is what Microsoft
good.
feels like after ABK. And look at that revenue.
So good.
Yo, I've noticed that we've been here so long that it's daytime now with Doom Cutie.
Yeah, I can see
it was dark and now there's light.
And the sun came out.
Crazy. That's crazy. I'm so sorry.
In fairness, the sun comes up pretty early, so don't be too upset about that. Honestly, amazing show. Thank you all for having me on. And you know, I haven't told many people about this, GAAS, so you've got the exclusive here. But little old Australian gal over here got invited to PAX East.
Oh,
PAX
shit. Go to the
East.
US.
In the US, I am beyond. I'm so excited. Yeah,
jealous.
It's going to be an amazing time. I don't know if any of you might be headed there, but
King, you're going to be there.
Always. That's our stomping grounds.
So maybe the King will have to show me around a bit, but I can tell for sure. But I'm officially announcing it here on the show. Thank you so much to GAAS for letting me do that. However, I will also be launching a crowdfunding campaign for me to be able to get there.
There's a long journey.
Yeah.
Might help.
It's about, how many hours? I think with all the connections, it's about 30 hours.
Woo! That's crazy.
Oh, damn. Hours.
It's
30.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the quickest you can get is 27. So anyway, I put my link in the chat if you would like to help out. Let me know. Connect with me. My DMs are open. Yeah, honestly, great time. Love you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for your debut, and I hope you had a great time as well. And good luck with that crowdfunding campaign to get to the US to meet the Lords, which I still haven't managed to do. It's fucking long.
I need to meet the Lords so they can meet the Queen.
Yes.
You guys are gonna be sharing pictures. I'm gonna be sitting there jealous as fuck. Like, why? Let's see. Hopefully, I can make it as well. But it's gonna be a crazy year next year. Last but certainly not least, it is the King. King, it's good to have you, man. It's just thank you so much. You just inject life in any podcast you go to. But it's always I still feel like our fusion is the the one. Yeah. Thank you. Tell the people what's happening. You've been spreading the gospel on your own channel. It couldn't be contained. I just want to hear more swear words from you. But when it's
not gonna happen.
Oh man. But I hope you had a good time, man. And tell the people what's next in the kingdom.
Well, Ace is the glue that keeps us locked in. I love sharing the platform with Doom Cutie. Little known fact. I think it was, what was it, on the 7th of the award show, she was supposed to take my seat, but she had a power outage. So y'all would have known that, she was going to be there. Yeah, she was going to be on Iron Lord's podcast.
Yeah.
And, so didn't happen, but hopefully it happened in the future. We can do a show over at PAX, a live show, and everybody can get a chance to see the Australian Queen, come over and meet the royalty in the realm, and worlds unite. Anyway,
have to upgrade my bling though. I might have.
Oh yeah. We'll have fun doing that. So if y'all can see, that's Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. If you haven't subscribed, I suggest you go over there and
do it.
I am messy as hell without cursing. Only reason why I don't curse is because I want every old lady, every kid, every church to be able to play my stuff. All right. And I want y'all, I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want you to, to think that I'm a potty mouth, because I'm not, only when I'm not on air. But join Xbox Frontline News, where I get a chance to talk about what's going on in the present, future of gaming. And Addict helps out with the live show on Fridays, where we have call-ins, and call-ins is absolutely nuts because it gives a voice to every individual that is screaming at Twitter. I want you to scream outside and let the world hear your anger or praise or whatever it is that's going on. So definitely had a great time with you guys. Always having a great time with Asa. Asa talks without talking, and it's so much fun. and what y'all don't know is I go off the handle to see if I can get a reaction out of Asa. Every time. And today I got a little bit of a reaction out of him. It was
he's just not surprised at this point.
Yeah,
I think he's just waiting for you to start ripping clothes off in sheer frustration. He's
he's done well, Asa, to withstand my bullshit, especially. So I think you're neutral.
Yeah,
you're numb
I've been
now.
forged in the fires of GAAS's bullshit, so it takes a lot to get a rise out of me. But I must admit, I love the Kong versus Godzilla kind of analogy. That's my favorite analogy in the console war space for a little while. So keep milking that one because it's brilliant.
wait till you. I'll show you off there. I have the t-shirts and everything. My merch store is almost finished. It was like 75% done.
Oh, nice.
I have a t-shirt that says "You can't save Kong." And I got one that says, Kong will die, and it is hilarious. I'll show you.
You're the merch master, man. After Hold the Line, that was fucking legendary. Thank you, man. Thank you both, and we're really grateful for the time. Thank you, everyone in chat as well. Patiently waited as I was late, and also for sticking around. Thank you so much. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Asa, outro time. What do you want to say?
Please subscribe to both of our guests because they're both brilliant. You're going to get a good time if you do that. So get right on over there and subscribe to them. Please also subscribe on my channel because I really would like to hit 1,000 subscribers over there. It's been a very slow process. The Iron Lords have been very helpful. Addict keeps sending. I'm doing live streams and Addict sends the ILP podcast over into my chat. And one minute I'm playing a game and I'm fairly competent. I'm like, yeah, this is brilliant. We're going to win this game. I'm doing all right. Oh shit, there's like hundreds of people now, and suddenly I forget how to press buttons. And we love it. It's great fun. So it makes me way worse, but I love it. So shout out to all of you. And Blind Riot, obviously, you're supporting us way too much. I hope you've saved enough money for your Christmas dinner, but it is much appreciated. And everyone in chat, thanks for coming through. Guys, tell the people what you're up to because I know you got things cooking, always cooking.
I'm not giving you dates, people. I've let you down, but it's the scope is high. It's almost there. I can taste it, I can see it. But it's there when it's ready. And it was so close. But I'm not going to give you dates, man. My channel, my rebrand is. I went live because of the Naughty Dog thing. Because fuck Neil Druckmann. But yes, when it's ready, I'll let you know. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Right.